Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new topic category video on the positives and negatives of my personal college experience. Now, first off, I'm going to go into just a little bit of short background of because I did not go into college right out of high school. So what did I do? Actually, while I was still in high school, I joined the Army Reserves. And I did basic training right after my junior year in high school. Then had like 2 days of summer vacation right after I graduated on my 18th birthday from Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And then went home, 2 or 3 days of summer vacation. Started my senior year. Did 1 week in a month at Fort Vancouver, my Army Reserves unit in Vancouver, Washington. And then, after I graduated high school, 3 weeks later, went to Fort Lee, Virginia for AIT. That's Advanced Individual Training. That's military schooling, pretty much. Graduated a week after my 19th birthday, came back home, and did the Army Reserves at Fort Vancouver for the next year and a half, while also I started doing some tip agency jobs in the Kelso Longview area, I even worked at the Astoria fish factory market several times to make a little bit of money, while I was still job hunting. And so eventually I got an interview doing a nighttime stock clerk at Longview, Washington, Fred Meyer's department store, which is similar to a Walmart. So I did that pretty much for the next year and a half while doing the Army Reserves, and I was living with my older brother. And then I decided to face my worst fear, and which was, I thought that going full military active duty was like 24/7 basic training. I was completely wrong. I wish I would have probably gone full military active duty right after all my training was done right away, but I didn't. I was a little, scared to, go make the transition from child to full adult out on my own and all that and facing the real world. So, but eventually I did. By the beginning of 2006, I left Fred Meyer's nighttime stock clerk job, left my Army Reserves unit, and went full military active duty to Hanau, Germany for the next 2 years, where I became a quartermaster supply clerk, E4 rank specialist. And then after that, I left Germany, re-enlisted, and went to Fort Lewis, Washington. And within a couple of months, got promoted to E5 supply sergeant rank, E5, and became a quartermaster supply sergeant for a field artillery battery at Fort Lewis, Washington, behind the airfield. And then I pretty much did my job, turned a 5% logistical efficiency unit into a 95% in the 30 months that I was with that unit. Year of that, we were in Baghdad, Iraq. And that was, what was it, September '09 to mid-August 2010. I was deployed for a year in Baghdad, Iraq for my first war deployment. So then after that, came back, and several months later re-enlisted again, and headed to Wheeler Army Airfield, Oahu, Hawaii, where I became a supply sergeant for an aviation maintenance unit that worked on Black Hawk helicopters. They were at a 3% logistical efficiency when I took over, and I was there for, I think it was like 25 to 28 months altogether, and then the first 24 months, 12 of those months in eastern Afghanistan, known as Fall Wolverine, for a second deployment. So I was 2 years on the island, a year in Afghanistan, and I turned a 3% logistical efficiency into the only 100% in my entire brigade's 86-year history. I received multiple medals for that one. And then I re-enlisted again, and several months after leaving, getting back to Hawaii from Afghanistan, I went to Fort Carson, Colorado, and Colorado Springs, and got put with a horizontal engineering unit. I was with them for a total of 15 months. And I turned their 24% logistical efficiency into a 99%. And I deployed with them for 3 months in Liberia, Africa, end of 2014, beginning of 2015, helping out with the Ebola outbreak. And I worked with FEMA and Red Cross representatives, so I started learning a lot about emergency preparedness management subject, which I became quite passionate about, and started, building bug out bags later. And now I also have like a home preparedness and readiness ideas advice YouTube video and vehicle preparedness and readiness ideas advice video on top of building 24, 48, 72-hour bug out bag videos. Yeah, all that happened, and then got out. I left my horizontal engineering. I got bumped up to battalion. My last 15 months of my career was a bit difficult and hard for me. I lost 3 family members who passed away in a 15-month period, and it took its toll on me. I just wasn't as focused and motivated and everything. So pretty much I was a little depressed and everything. My grandfather passed away. 3 months later, my dad passed away, which was 20 days before my 30th birthday. And then 12 and a half months later, 2 days before my 31st birthday, my grandmother on my dad's side passed away. So it took its toll. And then after about 15, 16 months worth, my chain of command's like, it's affecting your focus and your work ethic and all of that. Even though I left my engineering unit that I deployed to Africa with, they bumped me up to battalion level, and I worked at a higher authority level, and eventually within like a month went from working at the battalion S4 logistics and worked with the battalion PBO, property book officer, who's like a equipment accountant. And for the next year, I worked with him and improved his logistical efficiency for his department by 25% before being sent to the review board. And they reviewed my entire career, and in with 2 officers and a first sergeant, 3 board members that I didn't personally know, within like 3-hour deliberation, they released me from my military contract about 5-6 weeks later in total, which was 20 September of 2016. I got out. They released me 25 months early from my contract, gave me an honorable discharge, VA benefits, and the GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill usage that I could use later on whenever I wanted to start college, which was not far, a couple months after I got out. Right after that, I pretty much, the day I got out, I had a good running, paid off 2009 Hyundai Sonata black car, and it was in good running condition. I had my newer created bug out bag that I started in March of 2016. I started creating my own decent quality 24-hour bug out bag, which I had to keep adding on to and making improvements slowly over time as I learned more and more about that kind of stuff. And then I went on a cross-country road trip. I was a Worldmark by Wyndham timeshare owner at the time. I had like 3 years worth of timeshare credit saved up. I didn't have any place to go. I got out of the Army. I lived in the barracks on all the bases I was stationed at because I was a single bachelor, and so I had a thing of an apartment that I was going to go to, but it wasn't ready to move into the day I got out of the Army. So I got out. I had a thing of luggage of clothes and stuff, my bug out bag in my car. I had to kill 51 days until I can move into my upcoming apartment in Colorado Springs. So what I did is I used my timeshare credits, 3 years worth of saved up, and I went on a 51-day, 10,300 mile, 34-state cross-country road trip from Colorado Springs. I've been to Southern California multiple times. I was born in Riverside. And then Yosemite National Park, Northern California, seeing a part of California I've never really seen much before, all the way up to the Pacific Northwest, where I visit friends and family members, all the way heading east to Bangor, Maine, skipping a couple of states like North Dakota and Michigan and Iowa and Delaware, but hitting almost all the others, then going from Bangor, Maine, all the way south to Orlando, Florida, for Disney World, then heading a little bit more west, heading to Manny, Louisiana, visit my mom, aunt, and uncle, and then back to Colorado Springs. I'm someone who definitely is all about trying to balance the positives and negatives in everything in my life, to try to get it as equal as possible. So I am very adamant about a work-life balance. So I do believe in working really hard, and that old saying that hard work keeps a man honest, because you're busy, you're focused, you don't have time to be distracted and get into really dumb stuff, partying, clubbing, drugs, alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, all that. If you're keeping yourself very, very focused and you have hopes and dreams and goals, and you got these problems you got to face, deal with, overcome, and conquer, to keep making your life better and better, and finances better and better, and pay off debts faster and faster, and increase your credit score more and more. Hard work keeps a man honest. So I'm all about that. And so what I did when I did this major, incredible experience road trip, and which I spent a total of like $12,000, and out of my $12,500 inheritance that me and each of my brothers got from our grandmother. So almost immediately as I got it, over 2 months, I pretty much spent the most of it on this incredible once-in-a-lifetime trip. I was like, hey, I just completed a 13 and a quarter year military career in total. I did 3 deployments. I got out with an honorable discharge, like 24 medals, and a CAB combat action badge, because I've been shot at with rockets and mortars many, many times in Iraq and Afghanistan. So one major chapter in my life is over with. Let's go all out. I had friends and family members who offered me places to stay until my apartment was ready to go and all that kind of stuff. And so I could have taken them up on that, but I didn't. I was like, this is a once in a life opportunity before I move into some other major chapter, which is in just a couple of months. So 4 months after getting out of the military, beginning of 2017. Middle of January 2017, I would start my first semester of community college in Colorado Springs. So anyway, I went on this road trip and had an absolute blast and spent like 12 grand. And what I did is half the time I was sleeping in my car, using my bug out bag and sleeping bag and blow up pillow and all that, camping kind of gear, but in my car. Which is my second car, a 2018 Hyundai Kona. It was I got it at I think the end of March of, it was either 2017 or 2018, and so it was quite new. Not a whole lot of miles put on it yet, and so I slept in the back of that. It's like a mini compact SUV. Use my camping gear, sleep in the back with the back seats put all the way down. And then a couple times here and there, I would use my actual bug out bag at paid for KOA campsites across the country. And then the other half the time, I was sleeping at 5-star timeshare resorts, 4 or 5-star resorts, maybe some little lodges and stuff that were like substitutes that you could still use my timeshare credits that were saved up. So it was like a couple of days roughing it, and then a couple of days living in luxury. Perfect yin-yang, positive, negative balance. And which is what I'm all about. I've definitely learned over time that, like with the military process, for every whole year you work, you get 30 days paid vacation. I think it's like 2.5 days worth of paid vacation for every month you work. So usually between, for me, every 12 to 16 months of putting in nonstop Monday through Friday work, sometimes even putting in some extra overtime in my supply room office that I wasn't getting paid extra for on the weekend or whatever, or even staying later at night than almost everybody else in my unit, even my higher up officers and NCOs and platoon sergeants. I would stay longer than most too, because there's a lot of issues in the supply department that need to be worked on, cleaned up, and fixed, to go from a completely screwed up logistical environment and unit to a well-oiled machine. It took me on average between, right about 2 years. So to go from garbage to something incredible. So, and, I've definitely learned, if you want to create something incredible, pull everything out by its roots. You can't have an amazing home or walls and shelter and all that if you don't have a good solid foundation. So pull everything out that everybody was doing wrong and screwing up, start from scratch, create a good foundation, make your foundation good and solid and concrete. Set up, proper files, organization, clean and organize everything, sweep, mop, clean everything up, pretty much OCD style, pretty much, because I'm a major clean, organized person, as you can see behind me. and then set it up. And it's like, if you're not going to do it right the first time, why are you doing it at all? So do it right the first time. Pull everything out and clean it up, the foundation, and put everything back in nice, neat, and organized, and then keep building upon it. So, so I definitely believe in, working hard, and you make a mess, clean it up. If you just took over a department, and even if it was somebody else's mess, but now you're taking over, you got to clean and organize it and set it up properly. Don't keep doing the same slacking off bull crap and being, a procrastinator. Don't be as lazy and stupid as the people prior to you. Do better. You come into a new environment, make it better, so that way when you leave, you're not handing over garbage to somebody else. Make your environment or home or work office or whatever better than you found it. All right, and when you leave it. So I definitely believe in that. And figuring out work-life balance. Hey, it's great to work really hard, but everybody needs a break. Everybody needs a breather. I would say at least a week, if not up to a month. And with the military, for every year you work, you get 30 days paid vacation. So I definitely believe in taking part in that. So I did the road trip. I then got to my apartment in Colorado Springs. The day was ready to move into. So I planned and coordinated everything perfectly, and then I unpacked my car and moved in. I slept on a military cot that I had with my bug out bag, a laptop bag with my laptop, hard drive, the basic absolute necessities with luggage and clothes and all that. And then about 7 to 10 days later, my government storage household goods got delivered. I then took a couple days to set up my apartment, and then I now was fully moved in and settled. And then then my next process was, go through the military departments when it comes to the education center to get everything set up with the GI Bill to start my first semester out of 5 semesters of a community college, going for my associate's degree in community college there in Colorado Springs, right outside of Fort Carson. So now we're getting into my college experience. Something about me is I'm a little different from a lot of people. I'd say a lot different from most men. I've never been a major partier, clubber, bar hopper. I've never been, I don't get into tobacco products. I think I've tried 2 cigarettes in my life, and each time I got them into my lungs, I coughed my brains out for 3 hours. Like, why do people do this? This is so stupid and retarded and unhealthy. And then, never really got into drugs, never got into marijuana, edibles, anything. I don't like knowing that I feel all weird in the head. I can't stay focused. I can't stay in control of my choices, my actions, my body, my fluids, what I say to people, that I'm not super clear, like wide awake, and I'm not in control. I don't want to give up control like that. I've been told that I'm a goofy drunk, is one of the few times I have gotten drunk in my life. But overall, I'm really not that kind of person. If it was up to me, we'd go back to the prohibition, and all that crap would be illegal. I know a lot of countries, including America, are really trying really hard to get rid of cigarettes, make them illegal to smoke in a lot of places, get rid of menthols or whatever, the most unhealthy cigarettes. They were slowly trying to phase that crap out, and I think that's great. Now, if only we could do that with alcohol. To me, I'm not a beer drinker. There's only one like cinnamon dessert wine or like fruity punch wine from Leavenworth, Washington that I actually liked, and they're also really good when you warm them up. But it's like alcohol should be used for cooking, first aid, bartering trade if like a natural disaster happened or something. Or celebration purposes. So it's like you're getting married, you're getting a promotion, so you're celebrating that. A birth of a child, death of a family member, you're gonna have a shot toast or drink toast to. I think we owe us as Americans especially, we overindulge when it comes to alcohol. And to me, the overall thing with alcohol is it's 1% positive when you're doing it, you enjoy it, and then 99% negative outcomes and after effects. Those who get DUIs, drinking and driving, those who murder people drinking and driving, or injure people, completely destroy and affect people's lives, damage other vehicles, your vehicle, finances, relationships. People who are major alcoholics. Alcohol destroys your mind, your body, your soul, your relationships, your finances. You lose jobs because of it. All that kind of stuff. You don't know what you're saying. You don't remember the next day what you said to people while you were drunk. You lower your inhibitions. You get taken advantage of when you're drunk or high. It's like, so why do this crap? I don't get it. I really don't. I've gotten blackout drunk one single time in my life when I was younger. I've been tipsy drunk several times, maybe a dozen altogether. I don't really see the purpose. I mostly would have, I do like a little liquor. Like I said, not much of a beer wine person, but I like Jaeger bombers, and which is like tastes like black licorice. And then a newer type of liquor is my favorite. I have multiple bottles of it. I mostly use it for cooking, though, or I could use it for trade, bartering, and collecting. Is sapling. It's maple whiskey, maple rye bourbon whiskey, maple cinnamon whiskey. They're like between $26 to $37 a bottle. The cinnamon one used to be the most expensive. Now it's the least expensive. And it's from Vermont. If you want to check it out and get yourself some, you can find it on blackbearwines.com. It's a liquor store out of Connecticut. And then you just search block, put in like maple whiskey, or the branding is sapling. They opened up in October 2016 when I was on my cross-country road trip, and there was the second day that they were open when I found them. I was across the street from them at a dairy farm. But I mostly use the liquor for cooking. I'm a bit of a creative cook, and I've got a bunch of dozen or so cooking recipe videos on YouTube right now. Like sapling whiskey and stuff, maple whiskey and all that. It's beautiful. It's not only super smooth for straight up drinking. So I might have that like 2 or 3 times an entire year. I'll have like a shot worth, but mostly I put like a shot and a half worth in like a frying pan with thick bacon, and I've even basted a honey ham and a turkey with it. And the coloring and the taste is awesome. It burns off the alcohol, but the taste of the overall liquor sticks around on the meats, so it caramelizes on meat products beautifully. So yeah, I'm not really big into partying and clubbing and all that, especially as I'm older. I'm 38 right now, so that's not a big thing. Every single day I'm asking myself, like, how can I better my life? How can I better my future? How can I better my finances? How can I better my home, my furniture, my home decor? How can I, put things up on for sale on OfferUp apps, Facebook Marketplace. I'm constantly seasonally cleaning almost every month, going through closets and dresser drawers and everything. What do I have that's not a decoration decor item or a piece of furniture that is just lying around, never being used? It's just sitting there. I'm not a hoarder person. I don't like clutter. So I'm like, if these things are sitting around and they've been sitting around for like a year or so, never being used, then what's the point in having it? Form and function. If it doesn't have a form and function, then why do you have it? Put it up for sale, and everything sells eventually. Or maybe even donate it as like Goodwill, or was it the Salvation Army, or put it up for trade. So you get something better out of it. So I'm always asking myself that question of how can I better my life and finances and future, and pay off debts faster and make more money and put more money away, and improve furniture and property and items and appliances and all that kind of stuff. So that is something that I take very seriously. So when I was started college, You know, it kept me busy. It also allowed me to share a lot of my personal knowledge and experience of doing over 13 years in the military with 3 deployments and traveling all over the world. With my military experience and just road trip traveling, world travel, I've been to 45 of the 50 states, of the lower states, 3 of the 4 Hawaiian Islands, Alberta and BC, Canada, all over Germany, Amsterdam, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Iraq for a year, Afghanistan for a year, Kuwait for like several weeks, Liberia, Africa for 3 months, one of the Virgin Islands for several days, and then Alberta and BC, Canada as well on a road trip back in spring of 2018. So I've been to a lot of places. So and then so I've been world traveled, worked my butt off, been in the workforce, supply sergeant, E5 leadership position for 9 of 13 years of service. I've had anywhere from 1 clerk to 7 clerks. I'm their supervisor. I've been like an instructor, educator. I love helping people. I donate all the time to my grocery store down the road. Every like November, December, they do a thing of a $10 to a $20 grocery bag of a certain amount of products you donate, and I did like $200-300 worth of those in 2 months. Like almost every time I went there, almost like once a week or so, I would $10 or $20 grocery bag, which went to some homeless shelter place. I've handed people MREs, bottles of water, Cliff Bars, Crystal Light powder packets, gum. Sometimes, I see a person, they don't look, very harmless. I'm like, let me, talk to you for a little while. What's your situation? I've taken them to restaurants. I got to know them better. I see that, hey, winter's coming. They don't have the proper like gloves or footwear, or, they're wearing not good warm clothing. So I took them to a nearby military surplus store and spend maybe $30 to $100 on them and get them good gloves and wool socks and better footwear and knit cap and gator neck and gloves and a scarf or something and a coat. Heavier clothes, maybe even like a summer winter uniform, old uniform combo clothing or something, polypros, whatever. So given rides to some homeless people, as long as I talk to them, I've seen them, I met them multiple times, and I'm like, hey, do you need a ride somewhere? Do you want to leave this area and go somewhere else? Do you need a lift? I'm heading in this direction. I'm going to this place. If you want to go down in that area. So I've helped a lot of homeless people. I do like helping people. I've always been kind of in a service industry in some form. So yeah, I started college in Pikes Peak Community College in Colorado Springs, and I did a total of 5 semesters. And I was pretty much, I did, to get full post 9/11 GI Bill payment per month coverage, which is, the main reason why I went to college was to make money to get paid to go to school. If I wasn't getting paid to go to school, I probably wouldn't have gone to school. I don't know how a lot of people do it, with full-time jobs and with having families, having a significant other, having kids and pets and all that. That's, too much responsibility to me. That's overwhelming. You have to do a minimum to get all the benefits from the post 9/11 GI Bill. You have to do a minimum of 12 college credit hours per semester. So I started out with I think the first 1 or 2 semesters I did I think the first semester I did 3 college classes, and each of them were a type of college class that were 4 credits each. So that adds up to 12. All the others were 4 classes per semester until my 9th and 10th semester. I did 5 classes each. So I did 15 college credit hours for my 9th and 10th semester. Altogether. So I did 10 semesters over a 6-year period with 14 months in between. So I did Pikes Peak Community College, did 5 semesters. Now, because I was getting paid by the government, so they pay for my tuition as long as I pass each class I take with a passing grade. For most classes, it's 70% to C minus to pass or higher. Some classes you can get away with the 60% D minus. That depends on the class. If you don't pass the class, then the government does not pay for that class, for the tuition for that class. You have to pay out of pocket. So unless of course you started the class and then you dropped it, and then that's something that you don't have to worry about, because if you dropped it, it's like you never took it at all, so you don't have to pay for that class out of pocket. So then, how much should I get paid? It really, it depends on the college, the zip code of the college, the region, the state. There's multiple factors of how much you're going to actually get paid. When I first started out at my community college in Colorado Springs, it started out at, that was, mid-January 2017 started my first semester, and I got paid $1,550 a month. I also did on the side, while starting college, I also did a little bit of plasma donation, which was like about, I think, twice donation a week, 8 times in a month, 280 to $300 is what I made on average from that. And I donated for like 3 years, about 300 times, right about. So I was making a little bit of money from that, and then I mostly just want to focus on school. And until about 13 months after moving into my apartment, I left the Army with like 46 grand, and then I spent 12 of that on the road trip. So it was at like 34 grand, right about, left over, moving into my apartment, and then within 13 months I went from about 34 grand down to 5. Even though I was getting some money from plasma donation and doing college, it wasn't enough to be sustainable for long. So I was able to do about 2 semesters worth over a 13-month period, and just focus on that and college and get used to it and get used to the process of college and everything. And then after 13 months of just doing college, then I decided to take on a side job, which was become a Lyft driver with my black '09 Hyundai Sonata. And then what I did was, my main focus was school and grades. And why is that? I'm getting paid to go to college. The government is paying me and paying for my tuition to go to college, which means that I look at my time in college as a full-time job. So that's the substitute. I was even offered, I had some networking people, like a financial advisor from Northwest Mutual, and he contacted some people and had them call me and say, hey, we got a part-time job, we got a full-time position. It happened several times over the next year. I didn't take any of them. They were all full-time and all that, and I was looking more like for part-time. So instead, I, became a self-contractor, and that was when the money was really good and a lot of bonuses and stuff. And I became a part-time Lyft driver while I'm in school, full-time Lyft driver. So I was doing 30, 35 hours on average per week, as long as I wasn't super swamped with schoolwork. But it kept me busy. So if I'm either at school, in the classroom, learning, going home, studying, doing my homework, doing my quizzes, my exams, whether it's paperwork or online stuff or whatever. This is before COVID-19. And so, I'm doing all that, and then I'm either eating, sleeping, resting, chilling, and watching TV shows and movies, or I'm going out in my car, which I love to drive. I'm a major driver person, love road trips and stuff. As long as I have music, which I have a 32 gigabyte touchscreen Zune, the old Microsoft iPod. It's in good condition. Broke the screen once, sent it into Microsoft, and they fixed the broken screen and put a new battery in it. Still have an old enough laptop right here with the old software, and so they both connect together. It's great. And so I have my music, personalized music on an iPod in my car, and good running vehicles. As long as I'm not running on E and everything, I have gas and music, I'm good to go and just do what I need to do. So I love driving around, and I love meeting new people, and I love helping people and sharing my knowledge and experience with my YouTube videos. So I created business cards, and I can hand those to people, get more attention. And so I would do about 35 hours per week when I was in school taking classes. And then I do not take summer classes because just going semester to semester to semester to semester, very exhausting. And I know that I need, just like the military, after about a year or so of hard work, you need to take a break. So what I would always do is fall semester, then you get like about a month off, right? About 3 to 4 weeks off, and then spring semester, and then I don't do any summer classes, and that's usually between 3 to 3.5 months off. So when I'm not in school during the summertime, because I do not do summer semesters, then and I also found out from the GI Bill they don't pay as much per month, so you're taking on like twice the amount of work, a shorter semester, several less weeks worth, really putting piling on the work, and you're not getting paid as much. So what the hell's the point? It's not like a normal fall spring semester. So what would be the point? I was just putting more pressure and stress on me and not making as much money. It doesn't compute. It's that process. The only benefit is you're doing semester after semester after semester after semester within a faster pace. You're getting hopefully your degree and you're done with college faster. That's all it did. So you may be doing it in like 3 to 4 years instead of like 5. So anyway, so I didn't do summer classes, and so what was I doing during the summer? Relaxing, chilling, enjoying myself, go out and do a little trip, and then when I come back, I would do full time between 45 to 60 hour full time rideshare driving, job. So I'm a self contractor and all that. I think I made like it was like 48,000 the first year of Lyft driving, gross income, and then second year it was about 59,000. So I made good money. Whether I was in school, plasma donation, and part-time Lyft driving combined together, I was averaging between 45 to $5,500 a month is what I was bringing in. And then I was doing about the same when I was a full-time Lyft driver during the summertime. It would fluctuate a little bit, but yeah, 45 to 5,500 a month was about the average. I also kept track of, I was really smart and did my homework after a while, and I was like, tax write-off kind of stuff. Think about tax write-off. My older brother does taxes, so I got some information from him, and, so I'd keep all my gas receipts, food receipts, car wash receipts. I eventually got a car wash membership instead of paying it for it individually like every other day. Making improvements, buying things for my vehicle like phone chargers that are hanging on the back of the seat mount, so the head of the seat mount of the front seats, a back seat organizer. Gum, water bottles, Aquafina water with Crystal Light powder packets, napkins. How could I keep adding things to my car? And even on top of that, better floor mats and a dash cam. And, I would have like a Ziploc bag of Band-Aids, cough drops, Tylenol, condoms even, a variety of things to help out my customers, or extra masks when the COVID-19 hit and all that kind of stuff. So, but I would keep all the receipts and I'd separate them on a little 3-ring binder with document protectors. I could show it right here, little small 3-ring binder, little mini document protectors with different categories of receipts. So that's what I would do, and then I could roll them all up, create an Excel roster, add it all together, what I spent on food and all that, and because it's a part of the business, tax write-offs. And on top of using the Mileage IQ app that I paid like I think 60-ish bucks a year right about to use, and then it's swipe left it was personal, swipe right it was business. It might be the opposite of that, I forget. But then I have a digital app tracker that I go into the website, I pull up for the entire year from January to December, what was all business and everything, and then I can add up and print it off for my a tax accountant, And so both, what did I spend on, maintenance services, my phone bill, food, fuel, gum, water, accessories, improvements on my car, whatever I did, that bettered my vehicle, but bettered my business for the customers, for better, comfortability and ratings and all that. I kept receipts for it, added it all up, added to Excel roster, got the Mile IQ information, sent that, and got major tax write-offs. So made it where I pocketed more of the money I made from rideshare driving. So then, so yeah, I did all that, and I have I did want to take part in recreational activities a little bit more. I don't really follow sports while I was in school. Like I said, I'm not a party or drinker type of person, so I didn't really do any of that. I didn't really waste any of my time. I asked some people out, trying to go on a date with them. Some of them said maybe and never got back to me or said no. So it was like, I think in some ways I intimidated some people when I was in the class because was the type of person I have, world knowledge experience in the military, leadership experience, the type of difficult situations. So especially talking about ethical classes and everything, philosophy or whatever. I had a lot to offer, leadership management classes. So, sharing some of my personal knowledge and workforce experience and leadership experience and dealing with supervisors and higher up authority and, the good, the bad, the ugly, and sharing all that. And so I was the person that was always raising my hand to add something. I had a lot of professors hit me up and be like, thank you for participating. I know a lot of people always are afraid to raise their hand or don't, but it's like, or the professor needs to point them out, answer my question or tell us your personal experience or something like that. And so I was always volunteering, so I think I intimidated some people. And some people are like, wow, he's just full of himself, he just thinks he's all that and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, hey, that's, one thing I definitely learned in my life. I'm going to do things over time that other people do not like, do not understand, and do not agree with. That's a problem with inside them. That is not a problem with me. It's my life. I'm going to do things that I feel like are right or that I need to do it, and how do I need to do it. And I'm figuring out the world and my life, and so but no one pays my bills, no one takes care of me. So okay, you have an opinion, I didn't ask you for it, I don't care. I'm doing it the way I need to do it for myself to better my life and future. And I'm going to share my knowledge and experience. You can agree with me or not agree with it. That's freedom of speech. That's the freedom I fought for. So you'll agree with me or you won't, or you'll like me or you won't. I don't really care. If you like me, great. If you agree with me, great. I'll absorb the positive, and I'll deny anybody that's massively negative. You don't like it, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass the way out. Shut the hell up. I don't care. Don't want to listen. I didn't ask you for your opinion. Don't voice it. So that's how I am. But anyway, so I definitely wanted to take part in recreational things, and there were times that I looked into it, and like going to a ski lodge through the college, through the recreational center, or a kayaking trip, hiking trip, whatever. But something that my parents taught me was that it's like a life motto that really stuck with me, which is homework comes first, chores come second, all other responsibilities come third, fun comes last. And that kind of stuck with me. So because of that, and I also believe in hard work keeps a man or woman, keeps an adult honest and on the straight, narrow path. And so I personally believe that as long as I'm, constantly staying focused, constantly working my butt off, being an entrepreneur, solving my problems, paying off debts faster, working on my finances and credit, improving my home and environment, not blowing a bunch of money on partying and clubbing and drugs and alcohol and all that idiotic stuff that we really don't need in this world. then I will stay on the straight and narrow. So if it's my, homework and stuff comes first, the grades come first, before anything else, rideshare driving, second job, whatever. Getting the best grade humanly possible is the most important thing. The college and the class and the grade, at least passing grade, is the most important thing. So, even if I wanted to do a recreational thing and sign up for it, if I need to cancel because I'm getting overwhelmed and I feel like if I do this, oh yeah, it'll be fun, but then I'm way behind on classes and school workload and all that, nearly every time in all 10 semesters that I signed up for something, I dropped out because the homework and the schoolwork and the chores and life responsibilities come first. There's time for fun, but you have to set that up. Like college is done, doing it during my time in between semesters, then start booking things and setting up a trip and scheduling and planning and coordinating and all that. Doing your homework, which also can save you money. Calling people up and networking and asking about like military or college students discounts and specials, and then all of that can also help save you money. So thinking ahead, preparedness, research always benefits. So like I said, hey, work-life balance, work hard is great, but everybody needs a little time off within a 12 to 18 month period. You should be taking at least a week, if not up to an entire month off. And so you can re-energize yourself, feel rested, feel refreshed, give your mind, body, soul, spirit time to rest and relax, and then get back on the ball and work your butt off. And then you actually are more focused and healthier and more motivated and have more energy for the next round of hard work. So learning that work-life balance, not just work hard, work hard, work hard. Oh, I had I was scheduled to take these 2 days off. My work called in. I have to say yes every single freaking time. I would say yes maybe 80% of the time, but not every single time. And if they have a problem with that and they try to fire you because you didn't accept additional work when they need you, then you could sue their butts. So, you come first in your mental, emotional health. Happiness and all that comes before anything. So, so pretty much what happened is, yes, I did 5 whole semesters of college. Then I got my associate's degree from Pikes Peak Community College in Colorado Springs. And after that, I did not roll right into getting a bachelor's. I actually took the next 14 months while still living in Colorado Springs to do nothing but full-time Lyft driving, really pushing myself for the next 14 months because I wanted to reach a goal of having a little over 20 grand in my pocket while also each and every month paying all my rent, utilities, and buying food and stuff. By the end of 12 months to 14 month period, I wanted a little over 20 grand in my pocket to be able to afford to move back to the Pacific Northwest, which is where I am now, where I ended up. So I had that. I contacted my older brother, threw a little bit of money his way to run around and look up apartment places and environments and cost and the positives and the negatives. He ran around with his car and did some homework for me. I threw some money his way, enough to cover gas and then some. And then, I had a listing of what I thought from what I saw online and research I did looking for a new apartment. What was my number 1 choice, 2 choice, 3 choice, all the way to like 20 choice. He looked at like a dozen places. And then he gave me his top 3 and why, positives, negatives, wrote down the notes, and then contacted the place and then had them give him the key, because then I, got a U-Haul in Colorado Springs with a trailer to put my car on. I already had all the boxes from household goods from government storage. I kept them and put them in a storage closet. So packed everything. I had a soldier buddy come help me pack up. And then, packed up the U-Haul, road trip, 1.5 days from Colorado Springs to, it's about right around 1,400 miles, I think, to Kelso, Longview. Got together with my older brother. He had the key to my new apartment. He had it for a couple of days. I authorized him to get it for me. And then I didn't even know where this apartment complex was. I knew it was in Ridgefield, Washington. That's all I knew. But it was brand spanking new. You know, just opened up, gated community, a lot of amenities and all that. And it started out with was it $12.85 a month rent for a 720 square foot, one bedroom, one bathroom, VIP garbage pickup from your front door, gated community and all that kind of stuff. 24-hour little gym. Spa gated area with a pool and hot tub, and later on they put in a gas grill and fireplace as well near the pool. So all that. So he didn't take pictures of the place when he checked it out or anything, so I didn't know what I was walking into. All I knew is I lived in a 520 square foot, one bedroom, one bathroom place, bit rundown in Colorado Springs, but it was decent. It was a good environment at the time. Never really had too many issues. And then, was going to a 720 square, so additional 200 square foot, but brand spanking new. I'm the very first resident since mid-November 2019 who's lived in this apartment. No one else has ever lived in this apartment before me. So better insulation, more amenities, and all that. That's why it costs a lot more. I was paying last year a little under $900. Started out from $800 over 3 years, went up to $900 in Colorado Springs, and then I'm jumping up multiple hundreds of dollars to like $12.85 a month each month for the first 15 months. Then COVID happened, and they kept the next lease for 14 months the same. Then the third year increased by like $80, I think it was, and the next year was increased by $90. So, I moved, and then I pretty much I switched over my Lyft account, started driving in the Pacific Northwest area, Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington mostly, and then within a couple of months I got deactivated by Lyft because of a false report from a female who would pretty much try to pull one of those rideshare driving scams of filing a false report in order to get her money back, which worked. I got deactivated. I didn't have a dash cam at the time, and it was a he said, she said, and so I didn't fight it. Got deactivated, suspended, and then deactivated. About a month later, after feeling sorry for myself, snapped out of it and like, you know what, I'll go work for the competition. I became an Uber driver. Unfortunately, within a couple of months later, COVID-19 happened, hit the Pacific Northwest, which was where it started in the country, shut down the whole area. Rideshare driving wasn't as big as, before I could go put in full-time week and make like 1,200 minimum, and then it dropped to like 200 to 300. So it did majorly affect the area. And then, I think by May of 2020, my vehicle registration expired. The problem with that is I couldn't drive. I couldn't get a new vehicle registration because I still had a Colorado driver's license. And then so all the DMVs in the area were shut down in the entire Pacific Northwest. So I need to be able to get a Washington State driver's license switching from Colorado to Washington in order to be able to go to the Department of Licensing after the DMV and get an updated vehicle registration. So because of that, I was suspended on Uber and couldn't drive until the DMVs opened back up in the Northwest, which was third week of July 2020. And then got my new driver's license, and an hour later got my new vehicle registration, uploaded it to Uber. They fired a lot of people, so it took them until about a month later, mid-August, I think it was like 17 August, when they fully reactivated my Uber account. So because of all that, I applied for Colorado unemployment, and at first, rideshare drivers, self-contractors couldn't get unemployment, but then within a couple of months of the pandemic and wanting to help more people in the country, self-contractor people did get unemployment. So on top of CARES Act money, which was like $600 on top of whatever you qualified for. So, at the same time, my mom, who was living in Manny, Louisiana, and was on her own and hated the environment, and her MS was getting worse, her disability was getting worse, and she got the stimulus money, and so she used half of one of them to buy a one-way plane ticket to come back to the Northwest, where she lived for like 25-ish years before she went to Louisiana to be closer to her sister and brother-in-law. And so we talked about when she should show up. And we said around fall time frame of 2020. Well, she showed up at I believe it was the end of April or May. I think it was end of May of 2020. And so she, brings her SSI money, abandons her old apartment and stuff, and moves in with me several months before she was supposed to. And she's like, there's too many hurricanes. I hate the heat and humidity. I hate Louisiana. So I'm coming home, and you're my son, so you're gonna help me. So she brought her monthly SSI money, and then for the next I think 2 years, we had a little bit of food stamps from her as well, and then that got cut off later on, and then so by that following, so she moved in with me, helping out with money. And then I'm doing, once I got reactivated by mid-August, I started doing Uber again, but still putting in the weekly unemployment, still getting some money from both. And then by the very end of August, right around my birthday, I started my next semester going for my bachelor's in business accounting at Washington State University in the area. So, and so I started my 6th semester in total, my first semester at a new university, once again, getting the whole ball rolling with using the post 9/11 GI Bill. And then, so I did another 5 semesters, and how much was that? So that, this is a different state, this is a different region, this is a different college and zip code and all that, so I'm a transfer student. And pretty much instead of, because the first 5 semesters at Pikes Peak Community College in Colorado Springs started out at $15.50, and by the last 5th semester, it was $18.80. It slowly went up over time. Like how, federal government COLA goes up slowly over time. So then starting at Washington State University, the first couple of semesters, the amount of money I was getting paid for every full semester doing full-time college classes, 12 college credit hours worth, it started out at $2,453 per month, and that was end of August of 2020. So then a couple semesters later, either by the 3rd or 4th semester, it increased to $25.25 per month. It's probably over $2,600 bucks, maybe even $2,700 now, for someone using the post 9/11 GI Bill. And then we also, for college, so it's not just they pay for my tuition as long as I pass each class, and then they, if I don't pass the class, I pay for the tuition. They pay me to go to school, but it's also, I get a book stipend as well, which it was like $41.57, I believe, or somewhere right around there, per credit hour you take. So if I take more credit hours instead of just 12, like 15 or whatever, I'll get a little bit more money for the book stipend for that semester. So there is that. I pretty much, that's one thing I really didn't like about college. That's one of the negatives. They give you a listing of the books that you need, the things you got to go buy from the bookstore, even like graphing calculator, Texas Instrument graphing calculator, or whatever else. And then so they give you this list, for these different classes of what you need. And then there are some classes where you use everything that you buy. And then there are other classes where you either don't touch that specific book or pamphlet or calculator or whatever. So you wasted your money buying it, and then, you didn't use it. Or you use it very, very little. Like out of an entire book, then you might check out 2 or 3 chapters, or 1 chapter, and that's it. And then it's like, oh, we're never touching that book again. Then what the hell was the point in wasting the money buying it in the first place? So, that's something that's a negative about college. There were times that I spent more money on the books and equipment and stuff that they said that I needed for every single class than what I got back. Sometimes that evened out, and sometimes I got to pocket some of the money. So out of all my 10 semesters, I probably wasted $500 to $750-ish out of my own pocket, where I didn't get as much from my book stipend back as what I put into buying all this stuff for each semester. And then, of course, you You could put it online, like let go and offer up. Some people, so they buy a used book from you, so they don't have to buy the brand new book. You could do that sometimes, or you just go back to the bookstore and donate it as well. Or you might get, depending on how new of a book, it's a brand new edition. It's like the third edition or whatever, and they're still using it for the next semester. You might be able to get like 10-20% of what you paid for it back, something like that. So there's that. Let's see, what else? Another really bad thing to do, that is a really, really bad idea, is constantly changing your degree. My older brother went through this. He did like 3 semesters, I believe it was, of college. And after each semester he completely changed his degree. In some ways, the very beginning, that's fine. Sometimes I would say maybe you even stick with it just to get the associates. You get your associates, and then when you start your bachelor's degree, that's when you really need to know, this is definitely the degree that I want to go for. And give you an example, my own personal experience of by my middle of my 7th semester of college at Washington State University, I was like, can I do accounting? Yes. Can I pick it up? Yes. I don't have any current actual real world accounting experience. But, from the classes I've taken, could I do it? Yeah, I could do it. Do I really want to? No, not really. It's so dry and so boring. It's something that I could do. I've even talked to actual accounting people while doing rideshare driving, and they're like, someone threw me in this position. They needed someone in the position. They taught me the step-by-step of my responsibility, what I need to do. So I'm doing accounting stuff of some form of accounting. And I've never taken a single college class. So you don't really need the college class. You could just jump in the field. But depending on the size of the company or firm you work for, after so long of being there, 2 to maybe 6 years, somewhere in there, they're going to be like, what are you doing to advance? Are you looking at taking the CPA exam and becoming CPA certified in accounting? And after so long, depending on the size of the company or firm or agency, the really bigger ones will push for you to get certified. They want you to grow and evolve. Otherwise, after so long, they see you as stagnant. And then if you're not going to go push yourself and do these tests and go to the next level and be CPA certified, we're going to have to let you go. I've heard plenty of my accounting professors talk about that kind of stuff. So, it's a bad idea to constantly restart. So when I was in my middle 7th semester, I kind of looked into it a little bit with my advisors of, hey, do you guys provide anything in emergency preparedness management? Do you have some sort of degree in that or something along that lines? Because I'm really passionate about emergency preparedness management, like FEMA, Red Cross kind of stuff. And they didn't have anything like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm getting paid to go to school. I'm looking at, by getting paid to go to school by the GI Bill, it's pretty much a full-time job to me. So I'm just going to keep doing everything I'm supposed to do, take all the classes that are required and do the best I can and hopefully get my bachelor's. And then, I have a bachelor's. I have a bachelor's in business accounting, which is a good field degree, even though I may not actually, go into that line of work, which not a lot of Americans actually do. A lot of people get a 1 degree, several degrees, and they go get a job in a completely different field that has nothing to do with your degree. And that's how a lot of Americans do it, because what is a degree, really? A degree, it's a, certification, it's a piece of paper, it's a diploma to put on your wall, but it's mostly to put on your resume. That's, what it's for. It's, to show employers that you went to college and, you followed the syllabus and the schedule and you worked really hard and you got decent grades and passed, and that, so you were pretty, consistent and reliable. And it allows you to start out with a higher salary, having that degree as well, compared to having a GED, high school diploma, or no diploma from high school at all. You have associates, you have a bachelor's. With every new level of degree, you find the right job, you get paid a higher salary, and it looks good on your resume. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take the phone. I have two little video clips to show you. One is of Sylvester Stallone from a new Mafia TV series on Netflix that he's on, and he pretty much, from his perspective opinion, tells what college is really all about. And he's right on the money. He leaves out one crucial factor as well, but then an old Blake Lively movie known as Accepted, where this guy named Bartleby starts his own fake college known as the South Harmon Institute of Technology College, or acronym SHIT College. And so he creates this fake environment to get his parents off his back because he got denied by every college he applied for, and everything. He does, he's kind of lost and everything. So he gets creative and he creates a fake college. And so when he has his parents come and all that, he creates a fake environment with a bunch of people making it look like a real college. And it used to be an old building, a condemned psych ward. And then they go, he hires his best friend's uncle who used to be a professor, so he acts like a fake dean. Well, the dean kind of is a little out there, like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, a little bit kind of out there. But the thing is, the way he explains what college is and what it's for and what the degree is for and the purpose of it, he hits a really good point. So I'm going to show you these two different clips to give you an idea of the main purpose of college and what is a degree really for. Why is it good to have one? Why is it important? So here we go. 1 second. So Sylvester Stallone video first.
What your major is, English literature, biology, whatever. The whole point of a college degree is to show a potential employer that you showed up someplace 4 years in a row, completed a series of tasks reasonably well and on time. So if he hires you, there's a semi-decent chance that you'll show up there every day and not fuck his business up.
That's what you think college is about?
That, drinking beer and getting laid. You think anyone really gives a shit about what your major is, English literature, biology, whatever?
Now the accepted scene where they go to talk to fake dean and what he says about college from the movie Accepted. That's Bartleby. Right here.
You know, a lot of people say that college is the time when young men and women expand the way that they look at their world, when they open their minds to new ideas and experiences, and when they begin that long journey from the innocence of youth to the responsibilities of adulthood. Now, isn't that a load of horseshit?
Could you explain that to us a little more?
Dean Lewis, why don't you tell them a little bit about the philosophy here at South Harmon?
Look, we throw a lot of fancy words in front of these kids in order to attract them to going to school in the belief that they're going to have a better life. And we all know that all we're doing is breeding a whole new generation of buyers and sellers, pimps and whores, and indoctrinating them into a lifelong hell of debt and indecision.
I just don't understand.
Do I have to spoon feed it to you? Look, there's only one reason that kids want to go to school.
Holy shit.
Which is?
To get a good job. To get a good job with a great starting salary.
Couldn't agree more.
We approach education so rationally.
Fucking A.
So that is a pretty good overall, description of, what is the main purpose to get a degree. College experience, depending, everybody's experience is a little different. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people focus more on the partying and clubbing and all that. It's kind of like, definitely I wouldn't want to be the person who it's like the Ryan Reynolds character from the Van Wilder movie, who pretty much just stayed in college for like 10 years, took a little bit of everything, still doesn't know who he is and where he belongs. And, and then they eventually forced him to like, hey, finish the couple, college credit hours that you need and you get a degree. And so he stuck around and wasted a ton of time, ton of energy, ton of money. He's just completely lost. If you haven't seen that movie, that is a great movie, one of Ryan Reynolds' best, and it's super hilarious as well. So, so if anything, definitely don't be the person who's constantly, switching degrees semester after semester after a couple of semesters, because what does that do? You're pretty much wasting a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money. Most of the time, a good portion of the classes you took from the semester prior will not switch over to the new degrees. Maybe some will, but not a lot will. So you've wasted a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money. You went through all that stress for no reason. And you pretty much, what you did is you hit the reset button that you got to start all over again to go for a new degree. I actually watched recently a little video on YouTube of a guy talking to Dave Ramsey, little podcast, and he has been going for a master's in like a medical field of becoming a surgeon. And so far he's wasted $430,000 that he's in debt. And he still hasn't gotten a degree. He has tried to study, and he's taken the final exam thing like 3 times and failed every time. And he got kicked out from, I think it's kind of like the bar, similar to lawyer stuff or whatever. And so Dave Ramsey was like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not so familiar with that field. So to give you really good financial advice, and like, could you change it up? If you're having so much trouble with these tests, could you change up to some other form of medical field where a lot of what you've already done is not lost or thrown away? It's like, yeah, I could do one more thing. I'll have to probably add another $60,000, $70,000 to the already $430,000 debt, so close to $500,000 or exactly $500,000. Do one more year, and I can like change it to another medical field and all that. But it's like, if it's going to pay out, then maybe I would really consider doing that. Otherwise, maybe you should just, call it quits. You've got up to a bachelor's at least, right? But yeah, you don't have the master's, and get a job and start putting, doing whatever you can, cutting costs in every other area to learn to budget and pay off debts faster. Go donate plasma and stuff, to make extra money to put towards higher, monthly payments. Principal payments to pay off this massive debt that it's going to take like 20 years or more to pay off. So definitely don't hurt yourself. Once you really get into something, stick with it. Even though I realized, hey, I didn't want to do accounting, I still stuck with it because a business diploma, bachelor's degree still looks good on my resume. To get any kind of job, that I go for, whether it's in accounting or some other field. One thing I really don't agree with when it comes to college, another sort of negative, is currently right now they say it's you have to get 60 college credit hours for an associate's and 120 for a bachelor's. I think college is way too expensive. The whole thing of going to an Ivy League school, and like, why? Because, they're known for being Harvard or Stanford. Who cares? Degree is a degree. Who cares where it's come from? If you go for it's like caring about brand names, and you're going to be paying up the butthole for it, all for a brand. Who cares about brands, unless you have a business, then you care about your brand. But if you don't own the business, who cares about the brand? So I think it's way too expensive, and I personally believe that colleges they force way too much or require way too much of students in order to get a degree. What do I mean? What I mean is right now it's 60 college credit hours for associates, 120 for a bachelor's, for an example. I think it should be half that. I think it should be 30 for an associate, 60, or maybe even a little less than that for a bachelor's. And because I think my biggest problem I have with colleges, other than wasting money on a bunch of books and stuff that we don't even use, depending on how the professor, runs his syllabus and curriculum and all that, is they force a lot more of college classes down our throats than you really, really need. And what do I mean? Well, I went for a bachelor's in business accounting, right? After overall 10 semesters, I did 8 accounting classes. And only a small handful more, like 4 to 6 additional ones, I would say enhanced the accounting degree, like business statistics, MIS, Management Information System, speech class, be able to get used to getting up and speaking in front of people if you're not used to that already. So, and some others, maybe ethics class, business class, international business. So certain classes definitely enhance, getting a business accounting degree in the accounting field. But then I would say between 50% up to about 80% of all the other classes have nothing to freaking do with accounting. Because it's fine when you're in middle school and high school and you have a large variety of subjects, 7, 8 different classes, sciences and math and history and English and computer classes and PE and weightlifting and whatever, But when you are, college is a personal adult choice. So I believe that it should be more fine-tuned and be more like a certificate. And so, why am I being forced to get a bachelor's degree? Why am I being forced to take, for a business accounting degree, why am I being forced to take college algebra, calculus, philosophy class, 2 different world history classes, multiple English classes, meteorology, geology, a bunch of classes that, were they interesting? Yes. Were they fun? Yeah. Really enjoyed them, but yet had nothing to do with the actual degree. Geology, meteorology, history, those have nothing to do with learning how to do business accounting. So that's the one thing that really bugs the hell out of me. Now, here's the funny part. I total, in 10 semesters, I did 39 classes. 38 were required. I did 1 extra because I was having trouble for the first 2 times passing calculus. So I took a pre-calculus class, and it helped me even better before taking an actual calculus class. Out of all 10 semesters, I also received, out of 39 classes, I received 26 A's of a variety of percentages, 11 B's, and 2 C's. I made honor roll out of all 10 semesters for 5 different semesters. I made president list honor roll. So I did really well. But yet, like I said, all the classes I took, a small handful were for the actual degree and enhanced my degree I was going for. All the others, they were a waste of time, energy, and money, other than just learning. Just taking the class and learning from it and enjoying it, and to help you grow and be a better person. I actually asked 2 different semesters, about business professor and an economic professor when I was in my community college in Colorado Springs. And I asked them, why do colleges do that? I don't get it. Why do I have to take all these extra classes that have nothing to do with my actual degree I'm going for? I got a bullshit answer, and I got a reasonable, logical answer, a good answer. And what it was the bullshit answer was, it helps you to open and expand your mind and be a multitask problem solver and be able to handle a variety of different things from different topic areas. And I'm like, what? The other answer was more realistic. College is a business. The more classes they force you to take to get a certain specific degree, the more money they're going to make. So, and that's also why they force you to get all these books when you might not even use any of them, you know? So the more money, college is a business, you know? That's how they make their money, other than sporting events and doing research and things and coming up with new technologies and new products and stuff, you know? Better ways for green energy or farming methods or engineering methods or whatever. So that is definitely something that I do not like about college. I really enjoyed I preferred all my other classes that I shouldn't have had to take, rather than the main primary ones that I did take. Those were the ones I mainly dreaded. So, because I wasn't super passionate about accounting, I understood most of it. I could dabble in it. I could, if I, got a job and someone taught me step by step of how to do it properly, I could do it. But I just don't really want to. So, but like I said, the degree still looks good on my resume. So, all right, went over that. 1 second. Sorry, reviewing some notes. 1 second. Okay, so big thing, personally, to me, when it comes to college. If someone asks me, did I go to college to get a degree? Because, what's the main purpose? What's the main end goal of going to college? 99% of people are going to say to get a degree, right? That was not my reasoning. So you could ask me, was your end goal to get a degree? No, it wasn't. My end goal was money. I went, to make money from the GI Bill. I used college as a substitute, as a full-time job before getting back out in the workforce. So that's the main thing. To meet people, to learn, to grow, to share my personal knowledge and experience from time traveling around the world and serving my country, and leadership experience and all that. So to better myself, to learn new variety of things, to get the college experience, even though mine was probably a little different from most people's. I was more focused on just the classes, just the schoolwork, grades, and then if I'm not doing that, then I'm sleeping, chilling, watching TV shows and movies and stuff, chilling at home, whatever, or out doing another job. Hard work keeps a man honest. And focused, so I was always motivated to keep doing something unless I was resting. So, I didn't really care whether I, got the degree or not. It was like, if I got it, great. If I didn't, who cares? I will just keep going until the 10 full semesters, bachelor's degree worth of GI Bill money is fully used up. That was the main reason, and then it's like, okay, even if there's like 1 or 4 different classes I didn't fully pass, the money's all used up, so I'm gonna, stop doing college, go back in the workforce. Maybe I'll take on 1 or 2 classes at a time and pay out of pocket in order to get an actual degree later on in life, but just download my transcripts and stuff, so that's the main reason why I got a degree. So I'm probably one of the 1 percentile who's like, no, I don't care about degree. I was going for, interesting learning, networking, fun, maybe making new friends, contacts, in order to get a better job and connect with a company or business eventually and get paid by the government. I actually had a professor one time, because when he was, saying thank you for participating and raising your hand and always being willing to share your knowledge and experience, whether some of us agree with your perspective or opinion or not, doesn't matter. And he's like, you know what I think you are? It's a new Gen Z term that I never heard before. I had to look it up on TED Talk. And that was, I think you're a multi-potentialite, Mr. Wanamaker. Because it's like you dabble in a lot of different areas, and any areas that you're passionate about, you want to know the ins and outs and become a little bit of a subject matter expert. So I would say you're a multi-potentialite. And I was like, well, I'd never heard of that. What is that? And then I looked it up, and and it was like, dude, that's a pretty cool description or name someone called me. So, because I do like to dabble in a lot of things. I cook, I clean, decorate, decor, do artwork, wash dishes by hand, never use a dishwasher even though I have one. I keep bettering my home environment, furniture, finances. Just as of recently, in the past 7-8 months, I went from I went a high 800 credit score, dropped all the way down to 777 in like 7-8 months. I got it back up to 817 right now. So it's like I'm focused, and I'm majored into bug out bag building and home preparedness, vehicle preparedness, thinking ahead, having being prepared in a variety of different topic areas like first aid and food and emergency water, and hygiene and needing camping toilet stuff and cooking gear, first aid, hygiene, all that kind of stuff. Summer, winter combo clothing, camping gear, knives, firearms, all that stuff. So, and then finances. I have currently right now, if you include this video, it'll be 37 videos covering 20 different topic subjects, sharing my knowledge and experience to help other people if I can. All this info, it's kind of like what senior high school should have taught you. All the adult hints, tips, and tricks of becoming an adult and getting ready to get in the adult world, but that high school didn't teach you in your senior year. So it's kind of like home economics, but covering a lot of other variety areas like finances, budgeting, credit scores, and a lot of other things. The hints, tips, and tricks of being an adult that high school didn't cover but should have. That's like what all this information pretty much is. That's why I like sharing my knowledge and experience for anybody who wants to check it out and listen, learn, take notes, and implement it in their life. I tell people, even my rideshare customers, when I hand them a business card to check out my YouTube channel, it's like, hey, here's all the knowledge. There's multiple topic doors. It's like the Monster and Company and those doors. And there's all these different doors. And each of them is a different topic. It has to be you who chooses the door, chooses the topic, opens the door, walks through the door, and implements whatever you learned into your life. That's your responsibility. I have no power or control over you. I can't force you to do so because it's free will. So I spoke about some of the benefits of the post 9/11 GI Bill. So, what do most people do? Most people who don't have the GI Bill, a normal civilian, you go to college, you're pulling out personal loans, student loans, from the college. If you do apply for grants and scholarships, then you're mainly using that to pay for your tuition as long as you pass the class. That's the normal process. No one's paying for your books. You're paying for your own books out of pocket. You probably have to have a job, or someone's benefiting you, or someone, your parents saved up for college and is now, releasing the money to you and all that. For a soldier who has there's a couple different forms. Post 9/11 GI Bill is a specific GI Bill. And so it provides certain benefits. I've already said some of them. Book stipend, reimbursement of a certain amount. Gives you a certain amount depending on the college and area, zip code, region, state that you're in. Will depend on how much you get paid per month. It'll slowly increase over time. And then you pass your class, they pay for the tuition for that class. There's something else it does. Because you're getting paid to go to school per month, because they pay for your tuition, and you get a book stipend, that may or may not cover everything, it does something else. But unfortunately, not everybody takes part in it, and I highly recommend it to anybody, veteran or civilian or whatever. And what that recommendation is, take part during the first week of every semester when the workload is just beginning but is not that intense and heavy and serious. Take 1 to 2 days, 7 to 10 hours worth, and apply for every single grant and scholarship known to freaking mankind that and I made a mistake, and so you're going to learn from this. And my mistake was I thought I could only apply for FAFSA, financial aid. FAFSA is grants. That's an easy fill out. As soon as you fill out the one solid thing, it covers all grants and let the government decide what you qualify. Usually it's at least the Pell Grant, if not a couple others. The scholarships, on the other hand, is a little different. Every college website portal is a little different. Their research for applying for scholarships is a little different. And then you have to comb through this ginormous listing of like 500 different scholarships or more, and you have to see, would you qualify for this, or it has that, but there's a lot of the scholarships that are only for mathematics degrees, only for engineering degrees, only if you're like Native American and can prove it. Are you a foster child? Can you prove it? Are you a veteran? Can you prove it? And then, or accounting degrees or whatever, so you're not going to fit all of them. And then there's search blocks, and maybe you can, there might be a filter. You might be able to fine tune the list for like accounting degrees or whatever. So there's different genres for scholarships. And then if it sounds somewhat like, yeah, you kind of qualify, but you're not 100% sure, apply anyway. Do fill out your, application and give your overview background of who are you and how would this money help you and all that other kind of stuff. Just take the chance, the opportunity to just try and apply. Because a lot of people don't, and that's a lot of money that's just lost because you took 1 or 2 days, 7 to 10 hours worth of applying during the first week is the best time to do it when you're not so overwhelmed. And that's usually when they open up grants and scholarship applications. And they take that, and it's up to the government. It's like, hey, I'm going to just attempt it. I'm going to try. It's a higher pay grade. It's above you. It's the United States government that will decide, do you qualify? Do you deserve anything? Depending on how much income you made from the tax year prior, that is what will really also determine whether you qualify or not, plus a certain other circumstance. But what I didn't know is I only attempted to apply for scholarships that fit my accounting degree. I did not apply for the first couple of semesters for other scholarships that fit my life circumstances and situation, like being the first main family member out of my family to be going and trying to get a college degree, knowing that no one else in my main family has. And then other things. I was a foster child, and I'm 1/8 Cherokee, 1/8 Wyandotte, and so if I wanted to could do a lot of homework research and get the evidence proof somehow to prove that, I could apply for that scholarship. And so just, I'm not, I don't have a normal full-time job. Oh, I'm a contractor. This is what I'm making right now and all this other kind of stuff. My mom, doesn't actually have a job and she's not retired. She's on SSI and all this other kind of stuff. So you put in all that information, let the federal government decide whether you get money or not. Because even the colleges, like some, students apply. Why aren't you applying? We got all this grant scholarship money, and we like 10% of college students are applying. What is going on? We need higher numbers. We need more applicants. Why aren't you people? Because they're tired, they're busy, they're exhausted, they're trying to stay on top of their life work and life responsibilities and family and their workload from school and all that. But take the time, because that is so much money. And how much did I make? Okay, the first semester, because I had just got out of the military 4 months before, so my tax income from the year before was too high, so I didn't qualify for anything, not even the Pell Grant. Second semester up to my 10th semester, I got a little bit here, a little bit there. Some semesters more, I got higher amounts of money more than others, but I took the time to always apply and at least attempt. How much should I pocket? Because the government's paying for my tuition as long as I pass the class. I'm getting paid by the GI Bill and got the book stipend. The last 9 out of 10 semesters, I pocketed just a hair over $76,000. My university was, I think, like $50,500 of that was from my university last 5 semesters. The second semester to the 5th semester at the community college was the difference of like $25,000. So, and I don't have all that still. I used it to pay rent and utilities and car maintenance and everything. I used it to live and survive, to pay rents, utilities, all that. So, but by taking the time, man, I pocketed over $76,000 on top of getting paid by the GI Bill per month, on top of plasma donation when I was in Colorado Springs. I don't do that around here right now, and all of that. So, I mean, I was a multitask, problem solver, entrepreneur, and I was a a grinder, you know. So I'm always like, you know, how can I make more money? How can I pay off debts faster? How can I pay off things faster? How can I put more money away for the future or save up for a vacation or whatever, you know? So that is, and also I should mention, you know, you can do like be a part-time student, so maybe like, you know, 6 college credit hours, but then you're going to get half the full-time student amount. So that happens as well. Let's see. I didn't, because of all that process, I have no debt from college. 10 semesters, 39 classes, got my bachelor's degree and in business accounting, and I have no student debt. Zero. I never had to pull out a single student loan at all, because I had, you know, mostly grant scholarships or my own money, and then what I was getting paid by the government. So I learned over my entire, like, you know, 20-ish, actually exactly 20-year adult life, a very valuable lesson. If you want a better life, a better future, then from when you become an adult and you're moved out of your parents' home, whether it be 18, 19, 20, whatever, if you push yourself and you sacrifice, you give sweat, blood, and tears to earn everything you have, and you sacrifice your time, energy, hopes, dreams for, you know, a couple of years at least, I'd say at least 5, up to 25, then as you're getting older, your overall distant, older, you know, age future will be way beneficial, way better, way healthier. You know, you'll have more benefits and medical and dental coverage and stuff. Learn to also, on top of that, not just sacrifice yourself. I'm not, I mean, go out and have a little fun, take a vacation, relax, you know, once a year kind of thing, a year, year and a half. You know, mental, emotional stress and health is really important. Not just, you know, give every single minute and be like a slave to your job. You got to, you know, work-life balance. You got to figure that out. Put money away in the savings. Like I did not take part in like the military government TSP, which is like a 401k that they would match during the time I'm in. I should have taken a part of that. When you're young and healthy, get like a term life insurance policy, and it's super cheap per month to keep it forever. You know, I you know, had one and got rid of it because I was no longer in the military. I should have kept it. It was like under $30 a month. You know, I would never take part in a timeshare membership. I had that for a dozen years. I was like, it slowly went up in maintenance due fees from like, I think it started out like $50, and you know, 12, 13 years later, it was $157 per month, so over $1,600 wasted. I did use it a lot, but the last couple of years of getting out of the military, it depends on the kind of job that you have and career, and you know, do you get a decent amount of paid time off per year, where like a timeshare membership makes sense, but when you get out of that career, then it doesn't make sense. And so I gave it up because I was hardly using it for the last few years, but it was costing me a bloody fortune. So I had to, you know, my lifestyle and budgeting and everything, and income coming in changed when I got out of the service. So I had to adjust and, you know, fine tune my monthly budgeting and cut a lot of things that are, you know, were useless to me, to save money and get debt free faster and increase my credit score and all that. So, so I pretty much, you know, believe in fine tuning your life, knowing what to have and what to keep, making adjustments in your life. You know, how to work hard, but, you know, relax as well, enjoy yourself. But if you sacrifice, you know, enough of your time, like in the military, you know, it's like, oh, even if you don't like the military, to go in one of the branches, do 4 years worth, and you automatically, that's a lot of Americans do. They sign up and do the 4-year minimum, and then they get out so that they can get the GI Bill if they're able to go in. So yeah, you're going to have to go through all the basic training, AIT, and the chain of command. You're going to be a private, a maggot. You're going to have no say for a long while, slowly increasing in rank, trying to learn how to become a good leader. If you have good leaders in your chain of command, hopefully. You're going to hopefully do a little traveling. You're going to get, you know, like live in the barracks if you're a bachelor. or more benefits if you have a significant other and married and kids and all that. Full medical coverage, dental coverage, travel around the world, possibly deploy at least once, possibly, especially the way the world's going right now. And yeah, you're going to have to push yourself mentally, emotionally, physically really hard. You have to give sweat. I mean, in this country, freedom has never ever been free. So, and that's something that, because and this is coming from an Army war veteran. Okay, I've deployed 3 times in 2 war zones, like each for a year. I've been shot at with plenty of rockets and mortars. So listen when I'm saying this. Most Americans, yes, you're born into freedom, but are you really free? I don't really think so. I think most Americans have the illusion of freedom, but to be truly free, like true North free, you have to give sweat, blood, tears, and sacrifice up to your living, breathing life, at least for a year worth out of your entire life. Push yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, verbally, psychologically. Push and bend yourself beyond belief. And by doing so, I mean, how does one become mentally and emotionally stronger slowly over time, leveling up slowly over time as we get older and wiser, hopefully? How do we become mentally, emotionally stronger? We face, deal with, overcome, and conquer difficulty, challenges, obstacles, hardship, and all levels and all forms of conflict. How frequently? Every fucking day. And you do that. Do not be the person who loses focus, loses motivation, loses purpose. Don't be the person who like, oh, I hate my life and it's so hard and stressful. Someone come hold my hand or do it for me, make it easier. Let me drink myself to death or get high all the time. Let me kick my problems down the road and keep kicking it and keep kicking it and keep kicking it further. Well, why not deal with it, face it, deal with it, overcome it, and conquer it quick, fast, and in a hurry, so you can get the hell over it. You just leveled up another point, on maturity and growth, and you're smarter and wiser, and get the hell over it and move on to the next problem, and the next problem, and the next problem, because the problems will always keep coming. Welcome to adulthood. So stop being a chicken shit, coward, wimp, wuss, pussy, who's always afraid of what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that, what if this person finds out, what if this person finds out, what if this person, who freaking cares? Do it anyway. If it's pretty much the old saying, the strong survive, the weak perish. And if the weak don't perish, then they get enslaved by those who are strong. That's the law of the jungle. That's the way the world works. So if you don't want to either perish or be a weakling who's enslaved by somebody, who's manipulated, gaslighted, controlled, bullied, abused, battered, then don't give up your power. Don't give up your free will of making difficult, hard choices. Make those difficult, hard choices and face them and deal with them and make them yourself. Don't give up the reins of your life because it's scary, it's hard, it's difficult, it's stressful. Welcome to adulthood. Time to grow up and stop acting like you're on a daily basis, mentally and emotionally, 20 to 30 years younger than you actually are when you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s. So if you're like 35, you're acting like you're 5 to 15 every day. Time to grow up and act like a mature, responsible adult. And if you want your voice and freedom and free will, then you need to grow up, stand up for yourself, face your fear, and face the bully and the abuser, manipulator, and gaslighter, and speak the hell up and hold your damn ground. If you're not willing to give sweat, blood, and tears to fight for yours or even your kids' rights, voice, and freedom, you shouldn't have them. You shouldn't have freedom because you haven't done anything to earn them. So fight for them. Stand up and fight. That's what I believe. That's a deep core belief of mine. Let's see. Another downfall to college classes. I find this to be very amusing. When you did a college class, you did, let's say, my first accounting class, and then you move on to your second accounting class, or maybe I took two that's a first semester, and then moved on to the third and fourth the next semester or whatever. And they're like, if you guys remember from your last accounting class that you took in whatever it's called, or your last science class, or your last history class, you should remember we went over this, that, and the other. Really? You really think that once the class ended and I got my passing grade, I remember that crap? If I don't use it within the next 7 to 10 days and stay on top of it, I'm brain dumping 99.9% of it. So that is something that about me, that I'm not like a photographic, eidetic memory like Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory kind of person. I'm like, I did this class, I studied, I, did the homework, I did the research, all that. I knocked it out. I got my grades. I got a passing grade for the class, brain dump everything, especially because between the fall and spring semesters, about 3 to 4 weeks off. Okay, within that month, I'm like everything that was in my brain from college is now being released. It's gone. I'll be lucky if I remember less than 1%. And that's pretty common, I think, amongst most college students. So that is definitely something. And so then we're like, you should remember what we taught last, class or last semester. Are you serious? No, not really. So I took 39 classes over 10 semesters. How much of any of it do I really remember? Less than 1%, maybe a half of a percent. It's not realistic, unless you have an eidetic or photogrammic memory. We are not computer AI databases. That's not how we work and operate. So, I think colleges and school boards and professors need to be more realistic about that. So, was college worth it to me? In general, yes, it was. It kept me very busy. I got to network with a lot of interesting people, and they have career fairs as well. A lot of colleges, not all of them, the bigger colleges usually, depending on your region and all that, will have 1 to 2 per year career fairs, job fairs. So you could start, like, hey, I'm in this is who I am. Here's some of my past life work experience. Here's my resume, my contacts, networking contacts who can vouch for me. What questions do you have? I have questions for them. Tell me a little bit about your business. I'm going for this degree. Here's my current resume, all that kind of stuff. And it helps get you in the door. Hey, you just met someone from a job fair. Yeah, we talked a couple times. We kept in touch. Hey, you're done with college. How about we set up an interview? And start preparing yourself for the interview. So, I already did that. Like I said before, the whole thing of, a lot of Americans nowadays, we get a degree, whether it be one or multiple, and not everybody goes into their specific field. I got a bachelor's in business accounting. Will I actually go into it? Probably not unless I'm like, I have no other options, and I've got plenty of options. What got me interested in it, and then would I go for the same degree if I was to start all over? If I went back in time, would I go for a bachelor's in business accounting? No, I would not go for a bachelor's in business accounting. I would actually either try to look for a college where I could get some sort of certification in emergency preparedness management degree or certificate, because I'm very, very passionate about that. My dream job is to work for FEMA, Red Cross, and be like an instructor who travels around and gives the PowerPoint slideshow, shows them examples of emergency kits, hands out stuff. That would be awesome one day. But if I couldn't do that, I think out of all the classes that I did take during college, I would actually probably go for psychology. I would go for a psychology degree. I'm very good. I've always been an observer of people and humanity, listening, watching, observing. What I think, is, they're doing well, they're doing bad. There's a good relationship, there's a bad relationship. Here are all the red flags, white flags of, why their relationship will work or won't work, or I give it like 6 months to 5 years and then it's done and over with, or this person's going to change, this other person's going to stay the same. Is this person a psychopath, control freak, narcissist, gaslighter, whatever? And almost, 9 times out of 10, I'm right, from what I've seen and observed. So I think I would probably do really well in a psychology, which I love the philosophy classes. I love the, relationship dynamics and relationship interaction classes. Those I loved. I think out of my entire college experience, there was, out of one of those relationship things, there was one subject that I hated personally, like it pissed me off, and I skipped it. And that was on a homework assignment on racism, which I think is the dumbest thing on the planet, and how racism came about and all that throughout human history. So I kind of was like, it's the dumbest thing. It shouldn't exist. Even though we all look a little different on the outside, we're all the same on the inside. So there's no differences between us. So, racism shouldn't be a thing in this world. Unfortunately, it is. Hopefully we wipe it out eventually. But yeah, so, and that's something else you got to do with, your college classes as well is, sometimes you get overwhelmed. My 10th semester, oh my God, was I so stressed out. I did 5 full college classes, both for 9th and 10th semester, but for the 10th semester, 2 of the 5 classes were like 2 in 1. So it felt like I was doing 7 classes on top of being an at-home caregiver for my disabled mom, on top of dealing with my family brothers live a half hour north of me, on top of doing a senior project a little bit each and every semester during my university years. As a transfer student, I had to. And so I felt like I was doing 7, 8 classes in one, and a lot of projects, a lot of group projects. A lot of people were counting on me. Definitely piled up for the last 2 semesters, and the final semester was beyond belief. I was stressed out. My forearms were shaking. I had clumps of hair falling out of my head. It was bad, and like how anybody can do that plus a family with pets and kids and a part-time, full-time job, not focusing pretty much just on school. I can't even imagine. I would have possibly jumped off a balcony or something. It was intense. So it definitely was like a full-time job, if not 1.5 full-time jobs. And what got me interested in doing the accounting degree? I was actually, when I was in the military, I was talking to a financial advisor from Northwest Mutual in Colorado Springs, who was a logistical officer in the military, quartermaster officer, so he knew what I did, because I was a quartermaster supply sergeant. So he knew exactly what I did. We had been around each other, talked to each other for a couple of years. We knew a little bit about each other. He's like, dude, you're so good with finances, details, the details that other people miss, cleaning, organization, staying on top of things, pushing yourself. So I think that you'd be really good, because he was he was a financial advisor for Northwest Mutual. So he was like, dude, I think you should get like an accounting degree. You're so good with numbers and details and catching things other people would miss and all this other kind of stuff, organization, filing and all that, looking up the history of stuff and discovering issues and how to fix them and all that. So he's like, I think you should go an accounting degree. And here's the great thing about it. Accountants are one of those jobs where if you can do it and all that, then you can pretty much always have a guaranteed job, even during a recession or a depression. Businesses of all shapes and sizes, big or small, need accountants. So that's one of those guaranteed recession, depression types of jobs, and that gave me the idea. Plus, it's a pretty good beginning salary. I think normally on average about $50,000, and then within 6-7 years on average, you could be making well over $100,000, maybe even over $120,000. So, especially if you get a CPA certificate, you pass the CPA exam. What's my current career plan? So since I got out, I've had a lot of personal family problem issues dealing with. Older brother kind of losing his mind and drinking himself to death and trying to recover from that and being lost in the world and not knowing what to do and can't find a job and living on unemployment or me and all this other kind of stuff. So I've had to deal with quite a bit. I wasted a quarter of everything in my pocket to help keep him alive and afloat and keep him going, and yet would have rather used that for investing in a tiny house, stock market, future retirement, or maybe traveling around or something. Go on a major multiple country road trip to different countries with a passport booklet I would have to get first, and then go travel and spend like 10, 12 grand on myself like I did once before when I got out of the military. And then I would have come back about a year later and been like, okay, it's time to buckle down and go find another job. I'm getting to that point within the next couple months, at least by the beginning of the new year, 2024. I am looking at getting a second job of some kind. I'm at-home, full-time at-home caregiver. My mom's MS in the past year has declined by like probably 30%. It's gotten worse. So I've had to do a lot more and really stay on top of things. I did do rideshare driving up until end of January 2023. Then I gave it up. I'm not deactivated. I'm just sort of like, I suspended my account. It's on pause. I could pick it back up if I want to, but my car is getting older, over 157,000 miles. So the more I put on it now, it's just got more and more problems and breakdowns and all that kind of stuff. I already had to spend like $8,000 6 months ago replacing some major parts. So I'm pretty much looking at for my future career by the beginning of the new year at the latest, looking at applying for a new job. I have a couple ideas of either I do additional online certification classes for caregiving, and I get certified. I have to do 40 additional hours of training and then do a paid for test, get the passing grade of 80% or better. Take that certificate, and then I can go to different agencies who are looking for actual caregivers for people who are not my family. And then I could get paid right about the same, over $21 an hour. It's a part of a union, SEIU 775. I have full VA medical coverage, so I don't need to worry about their medical coverage or to pay $30, $40 a month for that. Because I have coverage from the VA, and they do have like their own retirement plan, kind of like a 401k that they're putting money in, and it's already about $2,000 so far because I've been a caregiver for about 3 years, a little over 3 years now. So that's one option. Take on 1 or 2 additional clients on top of my mother who are not related to me, but strangers pretty much, who I meet, get along with, understand their needs, what do I have to do for them, be a little bit more professional, because they're strangers to me. Or my other option is, which also could be very beneficial, I do have 40% VA disability, which means I'm on a higher upper list to work for the VA and go do hopefully get a position, whether it's scheduling appointments and stuff, or logistical supplies for pharmacies or whatever, medication or equipment or whatever. Definitely could do that for the VA. They're always looking for people, and those who have disability and apply have top priority over those with no disability or civilians in general. And then and that's a federal job, so federal benefits on top of that. The other possibility is go through like USA Jobs and maybe start looking at becoming a park ranger, which is also a federal job. Or FedEx, UPS, post office, which I know you have to put in a lot of hours. Then they pile it on and all that kind of stuff, positives and negatives to everything, but the pay and benefits are good too. And the benefits of all that, if I do a federal job, is I've already done, according to my DD 214 from the government, even though I did 13 and a quarter years in the military, it condenses down because Army Reserves is not full time, and I did 2.5 years at the beginning, so it condenses down to 10.2 years, so like 10 and a quarter years of active duty on the government documentation. So if I do another 10 years worth of a federal job, then it's almost like the exact same thing of doing 20 years in the military, retiring with benefit pay, medical coverage, and all that kind of stuff. So benefits of going for a federal job, but also other benefits of just staying in what I'm doing, but to go do it for one or two other people and get good pay and all that kind of stuff. So that's like my future upcoming plan. But hey, things change. It's always good to have a plan. Doesn't mean it's the plans aren't going to change or shift a little bit. I have a job opportunity right now. A little bit of my local resident is a judge, and he needs like his own personal driver taxi person to help take him to some medical appointments. So that might become a thing too. Who knows? So for college as well, definitely do your homework. You got to learn to research. You got to learn to check your constant student portals and stay on top of that. Keep in touch with professors if you have issues. You don't understand something, send them, like I have an issue, I have a question, I have several questions, try to get clarity. Always keep, communication with anybody is very, very important to stay on top of things and not let things slip through the cracks. Another thing that's really important that I'll show is organization, scheduling things, and staying on top of it, and to make it where you don't let things slip through the crack on your multiple class schedules and assignments. What are chapters you have to read, homework assignments you have to do, how many pages, how many questions. You have also a quiz and a test and an exam and a research paper and a project and all those different things. What is a good, unique technique to stay on top of that and not let things slip through the crack? Well, I'm going to show you a great example of something similar to what I did in the Army every single day. And then I have things to do list, top priority at the top, start crossing things off or erasing them if you use pencil, and then rewrite the whole thing for the next day. For college, it was like for one whole week, and then the next week is a new week, so rewrite it again. So what I had was similar to a 3-ring binder like this, that's zipper binder. And then I would have the divider. I would definitely have pens and pencils, make sure they're all good. I would have the paper dividers, and then, for your first class, and then another divider, and then beyond that, it's second class, document protectors in between. And the very front is the most important. And the very front is multiple things, a blank piece of paper. Have definitely some kind of pencil, and you would do something like this. So it's an example, very simple example, rough draft of what I would do and create a things to do list. So for example, I would have entrepreneur class, management 401 class. It was an entrepreneur 492, English 402. International Business 435, Human Biology 101, little tick marks. Then the example, this is a things to do list. It's a tracker to stay on top of things. So Entrepreneur 492, read chapter 15. This is just an example. I comb through them because a lot of pages, even though it's a whole page, there's pictures in it, and so it's like maybe a quarter, a third, or half a page. Okay, so it might cover over 50 pages, but then all condensed together it might be 25. So then it's, I write in, I looked over the chapter ahead of time. It's 25 pages long. And then I put the due date, October 30th. Then chapter 15, homework, there's 10 questions, / due date, October 31st. Chapter 15, quiz, 20 questions, 45 minutes online. It's an online test. Due October 31st at 11:59 p.m. So that gives you a good example of how to create a things to do list. And then once I is all done, either cross it out, erase it, or and then because you probably wrote all over it, you've made changes, you've erased things, you made adjustments. There's a lot of scribble. Get out another blank piece of paper for at the end of the week and rewrite the whole thing so it's fresh and clean, and so you're not confusing yourself. that is an example. And then what I do is I take that piece of paper, and then my things to do list is always in the front. So if a professor or whatever makes an adjustment, a change, due date, gets written an assignment, whatever, I just pull it out and make adjustments. And I make even more notes. So I need to add this assignment. I need to add additional quiz. I keep adding to it. So I do make it plenty of spaces. Entrepreneur, good space. Next class. And then this is also in the order of your actual classes per week. So entrepreneur would be like my first class for the first day, and then second class, and then maybe in the next day, next two classes, the last day. Maybe it's and they that's one thing about college classes. They'll have like Monday, Wednesdays, Wednesday, Fridays, Monday, Wednesdays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, depending on the class. They'll have Tuesday, Thursdays. They'll break them up like that, certain days, certain times for some very specific classes. And so creating like a 3x5 card to schedule your classes, what order, what days and times, what is the class, and then is it on a Monday, is it on a Wednesday, is it both, at what times of day, and then going to the college the day before that class and scouting out where the hell is this class so you're not late for class. And then in the military, we have this old saying, on time is early. So if it starts at 1 p.m., you should be there by no later than 12:45 to 12:50 p.m. And then so the 10-15 minutes early is on time. On time is early. So that's something really important when it comes to scheduling. And creating a things to do list keeps you very organized. You're learning how to schedule. You're learning time management, organization, thinking ahead, writing things out, keeping track of things, and not letting anything slip through the cracks. Another big thing that I definitely learned, definitely by my time I started my 6th semester of college at my university, once I was done with my associates at a community college. There are some people out there who have a variety of different disabilities. There's nothing wrong with that. Do not be ashamed of that. So a lot of colleges, they might call it something else, but they might have an access center. And what this is for anybody that has any kind of disability, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, psychological. If you're dyslexic, you have a handicap, you're in a wheelchair, whatever it is. You have hearing problems, vision problems, you need special technologies and keyboards and all that. This is what, you go do. You let them know, you fill out the paperwork, you get evaluated. If you get approved, you get these disability accessories or exceptions to what the rules, other rules that everybody else has to follow. During my first 5 semesters of a community college, I definitely noticed a disability, and I then took advantage of it when I went to my university 14 months later. What that was I realized that I had a disability of, I love math, but I was having a little trouble, especially as I was increasing in the level of math, the difficulty level, slowly over time. I was in high school, and I was phenomenal when it came to geometry or trigonometry, anything with angles. I was awesome. You start getting into algebra, adding letters to the equations with the numbers. Oh, I was so lost. It was like I'm reading Greek right now. What the hell? So, could I do it? Yes. It took me a little longer. I was a little slower when it came to that kind of stuff. So once I realized in my first 5 semesters, when I took a test for a math class of some kind, like college algebra, for example, or pre-calculus, I pretty much, everybody else in the class would be done, and I'm only half to maybe 2/3 of the way done. I still got a good amount to go. So the professors would always stay a little longer. They're checking their emails, they're sending emails, they're grading other papers, whatever. And they're like, by the time you see me shut off my computer or close my laptop, you have to turn it in. So when I realized that I would need longer than everybody else gets maybe done 45 minutes to an hour, I might need 90 minutes to 2 hours. I could still do it. And I also question myself on my answers and how I'm doing it and all that. And I don't think this is right. My gut feeling is telling me, it's not right, and I got to change it. And, I'm confusing myself, and I'm kind of lost. So when I realized I saw that pattern, because I'm very good at seeing details and patterns, is that I realized I need help. I have a disability. I can still do it. I don't have a problem doing it, but I take a little longer than some people. I'm a little slower when it comes to that. So when it comes to algebra and calculus, especially. So with that, I went to the Access Center and I got approval for double time. So in future classes, especially when COVID-19 was going on, when almost everything was Zoom and online classes through the school student portal and everything, doing my time test for like an hour time test for an accounting class or a math class, algebra class, calculus class. I got double time. So when everybody else would maybe take an hour, for example, I got 2 hours. Maybe I didn't need it all. Maybe I did get an hour. So certain chapters I was better than others. Other chapters I needed all 2 hours. And so, and on top of that, what I really liked is with when we had the pandemic happen and we did Zoom and online classes, it did something else. A lot of professors would be like, oh, you get like, instead of just 1 attempt for the exam, you get 2 or 3. So then I would look over my notes. I would do it the first time. I take snapshots with my phone of every problem. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Match it up with my notes. The ones I did wrong, I would oh, that's what I did wrong. I need to correct it. How did they get this answer as A, B, C, D? Oh, okay, now I'm figuring it out. Let me correct that. Then I can use all of those snapshots and my notes as examples to redo the test. So I might got a C the first time, and then I got a B, and then I got an A minus, solid A plus, whatever. I keep getting higher and higher grades for every new chance and amount of times I do the quiz or test. So that was a great benefit to me as well. So Access Center, if you have a disability, you notice it, do not be afraid or ashamed of taking advantage of what do you need help with. Everybody needs a little bit of help. I'm a very multitask problem solver, been able to face all my own problems, pay all my own bills on my own, no help from anybody, solve all my own problems, deal with all my own issues, because I have nobody else. So I have to, if I want to live and survive and have a clean home and cook and everything else and have my rent and utilities, I've got to do things myself. I don't have any major support. So, so I do that. But if I realize I need help, then I can't be afraid to ask for help. You've got to swallow your pride and ego. So, here's a good question. Did I care about my overall grades for homework, quizzes, papers, and exams? Overall, yeah. I mean, I wanted to get the best grade humanly possible, of course. But the big picture is, if I got an F on this and an A on this, and it balances out to like a C. That's my math mentality. So it's like, as long as by the end of the damn semester, at the end of the finished class, I got a passing grade. If it normally it's minimum 70%. As long as I get that 70 exact percent or higher, that's all I care about. I don't really care about GPA. I got good GPAs. You have to get like a 3.75, I think, per semester or higher in order to get President's List, and I made that 5 out of 10 semesters for honor roll. So I did overall really well. I think I finished up with like a 3.65 term GPA for all 5 semesters for my university. So, did overall really well. So yeah, I mean, I cared about the grades, but there's going to be times, certain subjects, certain chapters, certain, topic subjects that you're not going to be good at. And so you shouldn't be like Sheldon Cooper, oh my God, I got a B, it's the end of the freaking world. No, it's not. That stuff is not going to follow you. Very unique companies and agencies, like a law firm, kind of like the TV show Suits, if you want to watch that. Everybody who works there it's a tradition that everybody works there. If you're unless you're a secretary, of course. Every lawyer who works there, an intern and all that, are Harvard lawyers and have a Harvard degree. Some companies may care about your high GPA and where did you get your degree and all this other kind of stuff. 99% of them do not care. It does not matter. They'll look at it. Oh, you had a pretty decent GPA. Okay, cool. but most don't. Most do not care. It's really not that important. A lot of people are actually, really questioning whether college is a good thing or not. And a great motivational online speaker. To me, he's the new generation Martin Luther King Jr. For the new generation in using technology to YouTube videos and stuff. His name is and YouTube channel is Prince EA. He did some incredible videos on especially schools. He did two major ones. I Sued the School District and What is School For? Definitely check those out. Great things, especially before you go to college, to think about it. So, and the other one was like Bosses versus Leaders. He has probably 4 or 5 dozen videos now on great topic subjects, but he brings up a lot of good points. Why is it that the colleges force so many classes down our throat and 50 to 80% of them have nothing to do with our degree? Why can't we use our most current form of technology? Why for math classes are we still using Texas Instrument graphing calculators? That's ancient technology. Why aren't we using photo math or Wolfgang website? These are things that my last calculus professor allowed us to use, and I prefer to use a graphing calculator, but at the same time, if you don't, here's a few other websites, calculator websites or apps I will allow you to use while COVID's-19 and you're doing everything at home. So, but he hits on a lot of points. Why are our classrooms and our education system the same it was or close to the same from 150 years ago? Why can't we use the current technology? Because the biggest problem I have with college, what they teach you in a classroom environment and what you learn in the real world, the workforce world, are two completely different things. They're 1% identical, 99% mismatched. So, and that's something that really bugs me. I learned this before I took college, because I didn't go into college right out of high school. I went into the Army for over a decade. So while I was in the Army, I did different military classes that were also go to 40 or 80 hour college credit hours, computer classes for logistical systems, aircraft load planner, combat lifesaver, small arms maintenance, variety of different classes. And I get certificates, which I also added to, took those transcripts and added it to my college as well. I got a few extra college credits because of it. And all of that. And so what I learned is, what they like to do, this universal cookie cutter snapback hat, universal, this class fits all, when it actually doesn't. And Prince EA hits on that on I Sued the School District video. Why is everything all universal when, some have problems understanding because they need special attention? And yet they might suck at math, but they might be incredible at science, or become a philosopher or something, or a counselor or a teacher, whatever. So why are all these things universal? Why haven't we updated and upgraded our educational process and what is allowed and what's not allowed? I don't agree with using the AI stuff. Thank God I graduated several months before the chat GPT AI software stuff became a really big thing in this year. So I'm glad that I graduated before that became a big issue and didn't know anything about it, but and all that. But I think we should be allowed to use the most current technology, because that's what you're going to do in the real world. In the real world, there is no 1 hour you have to have this done. Time test. There is no closed book. There is no closed notes. There is no, you can't go talk to and network with somebody to figure out and solve a problem and get the work done. In the real world, you're going to either try to find a subject matter expert who can help you and accomplish, because that's exactly what I did when I became a supply sergeant. I didn't know everything, the whole pie of all my responsibility. And what's this memo for, and what does it look like, and can I get an example, and how do you fill out this form, and how do you order these? If I didn't know, I went and talked to somebody. I knocked on other people's doors and tried to find subject matter experts who have more experience than me. And then It's, but if I couldn't find a subject matter expert, then I would do my own technology, software, Google, Yahoo search, research, and try to come up with an answer from a video, from software, something online. I would try to figure out my own problem if I could. So, or do even possibly, this is completely out your realm. You have to contact a completely different company and agency and hire them to do what you need them to do. So if that's how the real workforce world works, why the hell aren't we doing something similar in a college classroom environment? It makes no sense. They're like, we're going to shove all this information down your throat, and yet this isn't how the real world works. Okay, well, then why are you teaching it that way? So there is that. That's something I have a big issue with. And the military sort of taught me how the real world works when it comes to both real world and classroom environment of how they do these universal things. And what they did is there's they have different levels in but with that compared to rank. So in a classroom environment, 10 level, 20 level, 30 level, 40 level, 50 level, 60 level, 70 level, 80 level, 90 level, 100. 10 level is private E1. 20 level is PV2 or E2. 30 level is PFC, private first class, or E3. 40 level is E4, specialist. 50 level is E5, sergeant. 60 level is E6, staff sergeant, and so on and so forth. So I go to his class. I'm an E5, 50 level supply sergeant. So I need to learn everything from 10 level to 50 level, maybe one level above that, 60 level. But yet they don't do it like that. They because it's people of a variety of ranks. So we're going to teach you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Even though probably 60 up to 100 is completely useless to me. They made it universal, even though I don't need to know that much information, and now you're going to confuse me, and I have to learn stuff and test on things that I'm never going to do or use or won't do for a long-ass time down the future line, and it might be what you taught me is completely obsolete. So, I think that they should, for the military itself, but colleges as well, the classroom environment, fine-tune the degrees for what do you really need to take for that degree, and the few extra classes that could enhance and benefit, and also fine-tune it for your department, your rank, your level, and it's specifically for you, and it's at your rank, at your level, what are you actually going to use being a supply sergeant at an E5 level, and maybe just one level above that to get ready for the next level. It needs to be more fine-tuned, in my opinion, and unfortunately it's not. So what did I learn? By doing all those classes in the military, I learned everything they throw at you in a classroom environment, take with a grain of salt. You will not use all of it. You probably won't even remember most of it. Understand that they're going to throw a lot at you, and then you're going to take away a little bit, but remember the absolute basics, and it gets the ball rolling and gets it started for what you need to do in your job and rank and responsibilities and department. Okay, so and by doing that, that made me realize, I got my mind around the mindset of, yes, I'm going to give the best I can give and do the best I can with homework and quizzes and exams. Sometimes I'm not going to do so well. I'm not going to lose my mind over it because other, homework and quizzes and exams and research papers and knowing what how many points there are and all that. And near the end of the semester, like the last month, I'd be like, I need to get a good grade on this and this, and if all the other ones fail, I will still pass. Because all I cared about was knowing that until the last semester, I thought that 70% for every class was the guaranteed passing grade. I had to get 70% to pass. So it was like, as long as I get that passing grade, and it says I've passed and the tuition is covered, that is all I care about, so I don't have to redo the class and I don't have to pay for it out of my pocket. So once I had that mindset of understanding how the real world works, how the classroom works, how I got to take everything in the classroom with a grain of salt, I'm not going to use all of it. So everything they teach me in classrooms and different classes, it's interesting, it's cool, But yet, as soon as the class is over with, as long as I pass is the most important thing. And then I can brain dump it a week later, because I'll probably never use it. I mean, I took a human biology class in my last semester. Am I ever going to really use any of that? No. And interesting thing that one of my classes taught me, it kind of blew my mind. MIS class, which is Management Information System class. And they pretty much taught me for almost any topic area subject that you learn, science, mathematics, Excel stuff, PowerPoint, whatever they're teaching you, depending on the topic subject, depending on the category subject. Anything you learn in college right now within on average between a 2 to 5 year period, that information you learn in school is completely obsolete and useless now. Something replaced it, and with newer technology, newer processes, newer software, AI now, it's speeding up faster and faster. So some of the stuff that they forced you to take within a couple of years is pretty much useless. So that's one thing. This is really important when it comes to getting a new job, going for an interview, whatever. I've heard this from a part of my senior project, and we did a lot of online Zoom meetings, like how to ace the interview, and the professors got in contact, networked with certain companies from like a banking agency or an accounting firm or whatever, and they went over certain subjects, and they talked about their business and everything, and keep their contact information and all that. But one thing they look, guys, we understand you just got out of college. Your brain is fried from tons of classes. We do not expect you to come into a job and have every single thing you learned over 3 to 5 years of college and have everything memorized like Sheldon Cooper would. Have a photographic eidetic memory. We're not going to expect that of you. So it's like, come in, be polite, have manners, have etiquette, keep your mouth shut, ask a couple questions here and there, don't irritate people, keep your head down, be like a maggot private who has, no authority, keep your nose clean, do what you're told, ask a little questions here and there, ask for help, if you don't know how to do something so we can teach you, and, but don't overstep your bounds within the first couple of years. It's some of the best advice, on top of one of the biggest things that not only will get you fired, but will also not even get you hired is, I've got an accounting degree from whatever university. You're doing it wrong. I know better. I just finished college. That's not what they taught us. I know everything. You're an idiot. Why are you doing it that way? Coming in with a I know everything, God complex attitude, and I know this behavior very well because I have an older brother who acts like it, of, you know nothing. That's a dumb thing. Why are you doing it that way? That's not what I learned in school. Do not come in with a I know it everything attitude. Everybody shut the hell up. You're all idiots. Listen to me. I know what I'm doing. You're all morons. You should all be fired. Don't come in with that kind of attitude. Come with an open mind of I know nothing. What do you need me to do? How do you do it correctly? Please teach me. And then slowly ask questions, take on more responsibility, and be like, okay, I got it down. I want to take on more. I have some questions about this. Why are we doing it this way? I've come up with an idea that could maybe cut out one or several processes, and it could save us time, energy, and money. We should skip this. We should skip that. I did that in the military. When my second major unit, going from Fort Lewis to Hawaii, aviation maintenance unit, and I took over. I had a couple of years worth of knowledge and experience in one deployment under my belt. And then when I got the aviation maintenance unit, completely well-oiled machine, 100% logistical efficiency, then I was like, okay, now everything's fixed and clean and organized. Everything, each of my work days are getting easier now. What can I do in some category area? How can I improve upon it? Was my next question. How can I keep making things better and better? Hey, everything's 100% clean, organized, set up, well-oiled machine. Is there something I can do to make the process, the environment better? How can I keep improving upon it? Was my mentality. And I came up with a more effective ordering process. Cut out some of the processes that were extra steps that didn't need to be done. A better approval process and all that. And by doing it, and had to go above a few heads, higher level battalion, brigade, division, and the quartermaster people, the highest level, loved it and wanted me to train everybody within my division, supply people below, of this new process and give them examples and on a CDRW and all that kind of stuff of the digital files. And by doing it in the first year, I saved the government over $300 million. So, definitely, don't act like you know it all. Listen, learn, act like you know nothing, act like you are a private dumbass person who knows nothing when you first start out, until you've done a couple of years worth. And then you can start to say, hey, I know what I'm doing. I've been here multiple years. I'm a higher level than you. Don't back talk to me or whatever, kind of a thing. So you see that in the TV show Suits, especially in like season 7 as well. Before going into an interview with possible, future employers, research interview questions online, and definitely know your quick, as simple and quick of an answer for your strengths and your weaknesses, and review other common interview questions and prepare for that. And do like a mock board practice with somebody else. Maybe if someone has a job and is, or knows someone who's a professional interviewer for a business, maybe you get linked up with them and you have a practice, 1 or 2 practice mock board practice runs with interviewing. That's a great idea too. And then they can tell you your strengths and weaknesses, where you're really strong, where you're weak, and hints, tips, and tricks. When it comes to going to college, how do you pay for it? Like I did, GI Bill, which is a minimum of 4 years, which you also can take, like part-time classes while you're in doing, active duty as well. You could even get some time off sometimes to do college. That's a whole process. You got to look into that. I personally, unless your parents, of course, as soon as they know you were pregnant or you were born, they should started saving up. I'm not really all about that. I don't think that parents should pay for your first car completely or half. I don't think they should pay for your first month or 100 days in an apartment. I don't think that they should pay for your college. If they do any of that, I would say like a quarter of your car, first 1 to maybe 3 months of rent and utilities or something, or just rent. Maybe the first semester of college, and then that's it. You're on your own, because those who have others pay for things do not appreciate it as much. If you really want college, then you should pay for it. If you put yourself in debt, you're the one who should pay for it. If you want this bad enough, you got to give sweat, blood, and tears, you should pay for it. I personally believe, the core belief of mine is that you should you don't deserve things that you haven't given sweat, blood, and tears and earned with your own sweat, blood, tears, getting your hands dirty, working for it, and earning it yourself. Just because you want it, just because you desire it, your wants don't matter, your needs do. Needs are more important than wants. Form and function over nice to have. So if you didn't give sweat, blood, and tears and earn it, you don't deserve to have it, no matter what it is. I don't care if that's shelter, clothes, food, warmth, a home, a vehicle, a degree, whatever. If you can't afford it, you don't deserve to have it because you haven't earned it. So I really don't believe it's like, hey, okay, you want college paid for or whatever? Go join the military. Serve your country for at least a minimum of 4 years. I think that should be mandatory service for 2 to 4 years for every American who's able to go into one of the branches as soon as they get out of high school, unless, of course, they get a full ride scholarship to college or they're going to take over a family-owned business. Otherwise, I think mandatory service should be required, and it would help the young people generation with their mental, emotional state becoming more mature, learning to problem solve, go from, instead of just, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm a Karen, and I'm a whiny little 4-year-old who wants everything my way or the highway. Okay, shut the hell up, maggot, in private. You have no say. I'm your mommy and daddy, the drill sergeant or whatever. You're gonna do what you're told, and you're gonna, be disciplined and shut the hell up, and you're not gonna backtalk me, and you're gonna go to parade dress or attention or whatever. You're gonna treat me with the proper dignity and respect. The military mindset and basic training, all that will break them of their mental, emotional immaturity and stupidity. For most of them, maybe not all of them. And not everybody makes it through basic training and stuff too. So, I definitely believe that learn to budget is going to really help you out not only in adult life but while you're in college as well. Learning to budget. Stay organized. Don't put yourself in major, serious debt. For almost any reason. A little bit of debt is fine. I'd say like a brand new car's worth, and then you can manage that and make your monthly payments and everything. So if you are gonna, don't be like the guy off Dave Ramsey video that, I went and tried to go for a master's or PhD in becoming a surgeon, and is close to $500,000 in debt and can't pass the freaking test. That's not worth it, in my opinion. So same thing with putting yourself in debt to get married or get a wedding ring or both. Same mindset, and I would recommend before doing that, watch the Adam Ruins Everything episodes on weddings and engagement rings to learn how it was all pretty much back in the day that our grandparents fell for. Advertising marketing that brainwashed that generation, and now we're paying the price for it, and none of it's really worth the money for the ring or a huge one-day party. Spending the money more on college, getting debt-free, house, furniture, car, maybe the honeymoon, actual adventure that's more than one day. Those are more important things to spend the higher quality money on, not a one-day dress, not a ring that the symbolism of the ring is more important than the actual physical ring. So real diamond and gold is bull crap. And a big fancy freaking wedding, it's like, go to the freaking courthouse, do a little church thing, do it outdoors and have like 100 guests, and maybe get like home chef meal kits to cook for the wedding, or Subway, the giant Subway, 10-foot long sandwiches or whatever. I think my mom and stepdad did that for their wedding with a cake and stuff, so, and make the cake yourself, get it from a grocery store, You don't have to go super expensive just because. So be more realistic, down to earth, and to plan for a better financial future. Learning to budget and all that's going to be really important. It's going to help you with your future. And a great financial guru TV show on YouTube to watch. It was like 9 seasons. It was called Till Debt Do Us Part, and learning what they did to put them in such financial debt, the family or the adults, how she's going to help them get out of it in a variety of ways. Financial issues cause relationship issues, so she by season 2 on 2 to 9, she added like a rescue relationship challenge on top of dealing with the finances, and then planning for the future and retirement, emergency funding, and all that kind of stuff. And then she moved on to a different TV show, 2 seasons of Princess, where the last 2 letters of the S's of Princess are dollar signs. And there's 2 seasons of that, and both have great financial examples and knowledge. Plus that what was it, Caleb Hammer, financial audit guy, the money guys on YouTube, great financial guru people of making good financial suggestions. Keep learning and talking to your bank and accountant and financial advisor. Ask financial questions. What are APR interests on credit cards? How do they work? How to increase your credit score? How, should have always 2 or more revolving forms of credit at all times. And the age of the accounts, the older it is, the better. And all this other kind of stuff. If you don't have a business, you shouldn't have more than 3 credit cards. All credit cards should have some sort of like cashback rewards, some sort of reward points that benefit you that you use. Don't have more than 3 credit cards unless you have a business. Then don't have more than 3 personal credit cards, 3 business credit cards, all that kind of stuff. Keep learning and asking questions. The more financial knowledge you have, the better off you'll be, and then pass it down to your children as well. It would be very, very wise of you to stay away from, drugs and alcohol. It destroys lives, relationships, your mental, your emotional health, damages nerve cells and muscles, organs, make your kidneys fail. Learn to deal with, overcome and conquer. Stop being so afraid. Learn to grow up and push yourself. Look at every difficult things, a challenge to face, deal with, overcome and conquer. And then, stop dreading the difficulties of life. Get out in the wilderness more. Learn how to do yoga. Learn how to calm yourself down. Learn to let go of things from 20, 30 years ago that any bad traumas that happened in your childhood should not be affecting your present, because if it does, it will make it where you do not have a good future. So need to learn to let things go. You're pretty much, a good sort of life motto. You're not given a good life or a bad life. You're just given a life. It is up to you, your choices, your decisions, and your actions that will make it good or bad. Your habits will make it good or bad. So choose better habits, choose better people to be around, and choose better decisions and actions, and stop being afraid and running and hiding and cowering in fear and worrying and concern and what if this and what if that and worrying about every multi-universe what if possibility, and just deal with reality. And the better you deal with reality and face the truth and know that you don't know everything and you're not always right, and all that, the better off you will be. So, learn to be able to have confidence and integrity and belief in yourself. You got to learn to love yourself. I've seen many relationship dynamics that I only love myself about 20% or maybe up to 50%. I need you to complete the other 50 to 80% of me. If you leave me, I might hurt myself. I can't live without you. That is not good. That is not healthy. That puts so much stress and pressure on the other person to stick around when they may not want to. It's like, if they want to go, let them go. You need to learn to love yourself and believe in yourself, to have confidence in yourself. You should be able to come into a relationship and you're 100%, they're 100%, and now you're 200%. If you break up, something breaks you up, you go your ways, still 100%, still 100%. Move on. Let it go. It should not, like, I'm nothing and a nobody, I can't live and breathe without you. That's not a good or healthy relationship. That's abuse. That is mental gaslighting. That's a lot of problems, and you do not deserve that. And I don't even care if you have kids. Having kids, and even though you guys don't like each other, hate each other, can't stand each other, you're mentally, emotionally torturing each other. Even Dr. Phil said in one of his videos to one woman, she's like, I don't want to break up the family. I don't want my kids to come from a broken home. So he's like, so you want to trap them in one? That's not good. That's really not good. That's going to affect their mental, emotional development. So, staying together all because you have kids, but yet the two adults who were once madly in love hate each other, that's not a good enough reason to stay together. All right? So that's something else to think about. Learn to love yourself, believe in yourself, don't give up your power to others, and don't lower your standards because you're lonely. Have standards and have them for a reason. Constantly keep asking yourself, how can you better your life? How can you better your home, your future, your finances, your credit score, your environment, your vehicle, your financial future, and all that? You keep asking yourself that again and again and again, because like a mantra, motto in your head, and you're just like, because my place didn't look like this. I start out with very little, cheaper stuff, Goodwill stuff, hand-me-down stuff, and I just get slowly over 20 years built it up, and now, I have nearly everything I want. So that I earned myself, bought, paid for, created myself, or a few things here and there that friends or family members gifted me or made for me, as a gift, or bought me as a gift. But mostly 99% of everything is mine, and I earned it. So big thing there. Should one pretty much, was me holding off for college, doing it at a later date. Was that a good idea or not? That's a good question. I would say yes, it was. Not going directly from high school into college. Most people do that. The problem with that is then there's a lot of businesses that have like a stigma of, oh, okay, you got a high school diploma, good GPA, got a college degree, good GPA. You have really no work experience. Do you have any work experience? Did you work when you were a teenager? I did. I started out lawn babysitting at 12 and lawn mowing at 14. So I think getting out of high school, unless you have a full ride scholarship, don't let that go. You'll regret it. Trust me. Older brother did it. He massively regrets it to improve his life and future. But if you didn't get a full ride scholarship, getting out in the workforce, for at least 5 years, I'd say 5 to 10 years, and then looking at college after that. Having work-life experience, understanding the real world, networking, connecting with people, and all that. I think when you come in to college after 5 or 10 years in adulthood, adult life, understanding the real world, knowing more about yourself, learning about yourself, and all that enhances your college experience. And also on top of the raising of the hand, volunteering, knowledge and experience, sharing. So I think more people should probably go into the workforce out of high school and then go into college at a later date. I think that would be very beneficial. I think most adults who do that are also more mature, wiser, more responsible, can budget better, can schedule, create things to-do lists, can handle the workload better because you have real world workforce experience. So that's that. I said it once, I'll say it again. If you want a better life, push yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, and psychologically, and learn to sacrifice early in your life while you're young and healthy and have more energy. And then stay away from drugs, alcohol, and being the wrong kind of bad people influence. And you'll be on a straight, narrow path like I have. As adults, once we leave our parents' home or we're out on our own, this is another core belief of mine. We are all responsible for our own actions, decisions, and destinies. So if we want a better life, it's up to us to create one and to have one. It's not up to anybody else. No one else is responsible for me. I'm responsible for my mom because I'm her at-home caregiver, got a power of attorney to control her finances, to keep her, take good care of her and all that. But anybody else, like my brothers, they have their own homes, they have their own lives, whether they like them or not, whether they're happy with them or not, that's their problem, not mine. They are not my responsibility. Give them a little help here and there. They ask for it, depending on what they ask. What can I do? What can I afford? How much time can I give to them? And all that. What's going on in my life? But I cannot provide for them. I cannot save them. It's a little different, but every scenario is a little different. To me, is natural disaster hits their area, wipes out their car, their home, their furniture. They have no place to go. They're now homeless. They're starving. Then, yeah, take them in, help them out, help them get back on their feet. But when it comes to if they get into drugs and alcohol and trouble with the law and screw up their own lives and futures, if you want to give them a little helping hand, little here, little there, do not let them take massive advantage of you I mean, then you help them and they yell at you and scream at you. You're not helping me enough. I need more. This isn't good enough. You're a nothing. You're a nobody. I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. You just don't get it. You're so stupid. They belittle you and batter you and all that. They're not worth helping. Let them figure it out on their own. It's sink or swim time. Once they're out on their own and they've stayed out on their own for at least one full year, it's sink or swim. Unless a natural disaster happens, help them. Otherwise, depending on their life choices and actions, let them sink or swim and figure it out. You got your own life, your own world, your own responsibilities to figure out. That's about it. That's all I have for this category. I know it's sort of mixed in a lot of other things, but it's not just about college. It's about life and doing things while you're doing college and staying on top of things. And college helps you get a job, so interviews and thinking ahead, and the positives and negatives of the whole college experience. Hope you really enjoyed this video. Hope you, if you liked it, hit like, hit subscribe, make any positive, negative comments. I know it's a bit of a long one, close to 3 hours. I'm sorry. But I hope it was good info on my personal knowledge and experience, positives and negatives of my 10 semester, over a 6-year period, but 5 years of college, 14 months in between, associates and bachelors. And why did I do it, and the positives and negatives, what did I like about it and didn't like about it, what would I suggest, what would I dig into, like grants and scholarship research and applying and all that. So I hope this really helped you to look into college, make your college experience better, go into it with a good amount of knowledge, not be completely lost and not know how to do anything. Always keep talking to your advisors, ask questions, talk to your professors. Open communication, asking questions, don't be afraid, is very, very important. Okay, that's all I have. Guys, have a good holiday season. Stay safe. And if you go to college, have an excellent college experience. Stay away from drugs and alcohol and bad people. Stay on top of your homework assignments and grades, and get creative, and do whatever you can. And if you want to serve your country, to get full paid for college, to get paid to go to school with all the benefits. I highly recommend it to anybody and everybody. So that's all I have. Everybody have a good night, and take care and stay safe. All right, bye.